Rainbow City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader 1080 The Fan.
What is happening?
What a day.
What a day. Look at you two. Look at you two over here. This is all I got. You texted last night dressed like Christmas. This is all I got.
That's
man.
as Christmassy as you get. Huh?
I got a Griswold jersey and a Scott Farkas hat, man. That's all I got. I got a sweet ponytail, though. You like that? Should I wrap it around my shoulder? Let it rub me on the neck a little bit?
I don't know why, but of course you would have a Scott Farkas hat. You would have been the one cheering him on in that movie.
That's right, Scott. You beat him,
Scott.
No, this is actually a Davy Crockett hat that I had when I was a kid. I was like mildly obsessed with Davy Crockett when I was sub 5 years old. I used to be able to sing the whole theme song. My brother and I.
Davy Crockett,
King of the Wild Frontier. I love those movies.
Davy Crockett.
Mildly racist, probably to be a big Davy Crockett fan. I'm sure
Really?
that guy did some bad stuff back in the day, but you know, don't let history get in the way of a good story.
Merry Christmas. Good morning, Jordan Schultz. How are we doing?
Merry Christmas, guys. You want me to sing? You said Jordan sing, so
Well, it's the whole start of the show. It's just been
kind of a mess.
my button for my hype horn wouldn't work. It like would not move over. I was hitting it like 8 times. It got like caught and stuck. You know, I get excited for this show. And it's the shows you get most excited for that tend to just not go how you want them.
Yes.
Some of my favorite shows are shows that, you know, we prepare for, but Roof Daddy. I didn't know that was going to happen that day.
Roof Daddy!
Had no idea. But we didn't plan that. I mean, Dirt had the audio, but like I didn't know we would end up doing as much as we did on that because it was hilarious.
It was 40 minutes of Roof Daddy clips.
And my wife's like, "Oh, last show, big show tomorrow." I'm like, "I know. I'm really excited for it."
Better go all out.
And maybe 23 seconds before the open starts, Jordan goes, "I couldn't get the open to work."
I told him to find a Christmas open, but I'm pretty sure it said Danforth's name in it.
It did.
We could play that one at 8 if we want and have a little fun flashback for Christmas, last show of the year.
Is it a good open? That's yes or no?
It's got a lot of Christmas clips in it, but it says Dan, you can't do that.
Why?
You can't.
Why?
As a producer, you can't do that.
Why?
And pay some homage, man. To
What's
the
gonna
roots,
happen?
The grassroots.
I think he's in Australia. What's going to happen?
I don't know.
We're gonna get a cease and desist from Australia.
Well, he didn't create it.
Yeah, I know. I don't. You probably made it.
You and me, I think, made more opens than he did.
Oh, we definitely did. You were usually the holiday. You're the specialty open guy. You do it like you did the Halloween open. You've had a handful of those over the years. So this is probably the work of Brandon Sprague.
Is it good or not? I don't care about the name. Is it good?
It's got some Christmas funny clips in.
How many times? I mean, you're making it sound like it's just Danforth. Welcome to the fan, Danforth.
It's like the first word that the announcer dude says is Danforth.
Danforth, Dirt and Sprague.
It's like it's like a couple of Christmas clips and right into it's confusing as hell.
DDS.
That's right, baby.
Whatever you got. Hey,
What a weird time in my life.
That was a very weird time in our lives.
A very weird time.
Come a long ways, man. Look at us. We're still employed, and I'm having a kid now. What the hell happened?
And I'm dressed up as Elf today.
You look good over there, Schultz.
You look great. Are you nervous?
No,
come on.
You doing the
Ho, 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 mistletoe.
No, it's because the morning, as you just said, did not go as I had planned it. I pulled a bunch of funny clips, something from Christmas Vacation. I was excited to open the show with a lot of Christmas, and it just didn't go.
Can I tell you, I got up early today. I wanted to get in early today. And then I couldn't find my reindeer outfit.
Your reindeer onesie?
Gotta set that stuff out before you go to bed, man.
So the wife saved it and she gives me hers. If you're wondering why a grown man has this onesie, as I look like a middle schooler who's dressed as a furry. I saw a few of those at the mall yesterday.
I think you and your wife are into some weird stuff, man.
Reindeer sex.
Bird feed on your bug zapper.
You're damn right we do. No, my wife has, I don't know if she's technically a cousin or an aunt. She's a little older than us, but not by a lot. Anyways, she has a Christmas thing every year we go to. Every single year. It's a little wasteful, but every year she buys like 30 things of the same. So like
for like the whole family.
The whole family. She bought like 40 of these onesies.
So you all have one.
Because we take a big picture. I mean, it's literally for one picture. She will buy like 40 of the same outfits. And it's things like this.
Bulk discounts are good.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's a discount.
I kind of hope she's like hand sewing them now in the background.
No, definitely not.
Not doing that.
She's like, she's high end in some ways, is how I could say it.
Yeah.
So buying like 40 to 50 of these, it doesn't hurt her.
No, and she wants the picture every year of you guys dressed as an elf.
And we've
Or
had
a
like
reindeer.
5 or 6 of these outfits. And these are just ones this is one of like the 3 that we've kept.
Just picturing you taking that picture as like the kid in Christmas Story putting on the bunny outfit. Like, can he take it off now? Oh, he looks like an idiot. She went through so much pain and effort to make that for you.
That kid's moan in that movie is hilarious. He does it when he can't I can't put my arms down.
Put your arms down when you get to school.
And then he falls outside. I can't get up.
Looks like the deranged Easter bunny over there. It's funny how much you change when you're young, like how getting clothes for Christmas is the absolute worst thing that you could get. And then at some point it flips in your life and you're like okay with it. I'm testing it out with my nieces and nephew this year for Christmas.
Oh, no, dude. You're supposed to be the cool uncle.
But I went cool. I got them cool stuff.
What'd you get them?
I got them like...
Well, they don't watch this, do they?
They're not up this early.
Okay,
I think they maybe are on break yet.
Well, I don't know if your brother does the watch back thing where he watches the whole show.
I don't think so. He'll tune in like on the way to work. I don't think he's big on the YouTube channel. But they don't have jerseys, and you know me and my affinity for jerseys when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I got the nephew an Oregon Ducks
jersey. As a kid, you're literally wearing a jersey.
I am now, still wearing a jersey. Yes, I am. I tried all of them on to see how many still fit.
I like it.
I got the nephew a Duck jersey. And I got the niece a Blazer. She doesn't have any jerseys. I got her a Blazer jersey. And she's super into basketball right now. And she wanted, last year I got her a Damian Lillard t-shirt jersey, and I felt super cheap.
You're a cheap ass.
But she loved it, and she wore it to practice. And so I thought this year I'm going to up my game, and I got her a Anthony Simons jersey. So don't trade Anthony Simons.
Wait. You got her an Ant jersey?
It was the only one they had at Dick's. That was the only one available. But it is the cool, Rip City cursive look. It's the one that I like. It's a good-looking jersey. And so we'll see if they like him or not.
I'm not laughing at you as you're I know I'm laughing as you're talking, and you're like, why is he laughing at me now? I'm actually not laughing at the story. It's a great story. I think she's going to be ecstatic. That is one of the best jerseys they've ever had.
It's a good-looking jersey.
I think. And I panned it when we saw the image, and then I saw it in real life, and I'm like, this thing is sweet.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because Schultze, about 2 weeks ago, he was giving MVP rankings in the NFL, and somebody on our YouTube chat called him racist because he didn't think Jalen Hurts was the MVP. And they called him racist the day he was wearing the Blackhawks hoodie.
Yes.
And we talked about how that's maybe more racist than the comment. And now today he's wearing a Blackhawks jersey with a Davy Crockett hat.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
I love the visual. I got
the Clark Griswold going on, man.
I know.
You see the name on the back, huh? You like that?
The 00.
My uncle used to tell me when I wore this as a kid, you wear it backwards and then you go this way and it swats the flies out of your face.
Oh, really?
You just have the tail in front of your face and you just wiggle it back and forth.
I bet that is actually a real thing.
I don't think it is, but
it would make sense.
We'll go for it. Why not?
Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good morning. Needless to say, I did not get in early. I did not get a breakfast sandwich from McDonald's. I had a plan there. That didn't go through.
No breakfast today.
And then I had this whole big thing. I had a visual of how the open of the show was going to go.
Going to play a little Christmas open, crackling fire in the background.
Schultze kicks it off with a little chestnuts roasting.
It's just none of it felt right.
And then Merry Christmas, good morning, we're here. And then the open's not working. You couldn't find your outfit. None of your show sheet got saved last night.
Ooh, that's a double whammy right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a double whammy.
I worked on this thing for about 53 minutes. I jot little things down throughout the day, and then I piece them together. Usually it autosaves, so I don't have to worry about shutting my laptop and opening it up in the morning. And I've opened it up to last week's. Somehow last week's.
It's a fitting show. What were we talking about last week?
I've deleted most
Oh,
of
you
the
deleted
segments.
all the notes?
Yeah,
We should
there
just
was
do
like
the-
zig and zags on there.
Let's do the same segments again. We'll see if we get them right this time.
I have no interest in it.
I'll take back my Eagles are going to lose to beat the Seahawks on Monday night. I'll get another crack at that.
Oh,
one.
okay, that'd be a good take.
Yeah,
I'd lean into that one. I think Seahawks late. I think late they
Drew
get.
Lock. I mean, look, come on. How can you count out Drew Lock in a primetime game?
And if I'm to lay the mortgage today, Smith and Jigba
right.
anytime tutty.
That's right. I don't know what the odds are on that, but you probably make a lot of money.
I
Man.
bet you it was like plus 300 or so.
Pretty. I mean, how many touchdowns does he have on the year? Not a lot.
Not a lot. No,
So
he hasn't
it's-
had a great rookie year.
Somebody asking on the YouTube live stream if we dressed up every morning before we were on YouTube. I'm going to say yes. We just did the show naked. It's a thing.
I actually did used to come. I used to be bothered at a younger age and a more insecure age that we were the only radio show not on TV for some reason. It was never explained to me, other than like Comcast really likes Cam Cleveland, and Isaac and Suk have been on for a decade. Okay, so what about our show?
Infomercials pay a lot, man.
And I used to actually dress up even though we weren't on TV.
yeah, you did.
Dirk can verify this. I came in as the Turtles kid one night.
That happened.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. The Turtles face paint on
Yep.
your. We used to dress up relatively nice too, because we had somebody tell us one time that you have to dress for the job that you want.
Even though we had the job,
We had the job that we wanted, and so it didn't make a lot of sense. And he told us if you want more business associated with you, you need to dress up. And we used to think to ourselves, nobody can see us.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how that associates more business with us because, how are they going to know we're dressed up? The logic doesn't really fit right now.
We've come a long way, though. I will say we've come a really long way. We at one point were emailed about as dressing dumpy,
Yeah.
and quote urban.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
The first Blazer game we ever went to, I was told to not wear a jersey in the media press row.
There was somebody that left their email.
Mistake there.
And I thought, you think I'm that stupid?
There was somebody that left their email open in a production studio that we were using. And literally the email on the computer, we were like, what is this? And we looked on the computer screen and the email said, and talking about Dirt and I going to Blazer games, make sure Dirt doesn't dress dumpy and Sprague doesn't dress urban.
Very offended by this.
Which, by the way, kudos,
Dumpy, come on.
I want to give a little credit. Saying urban in that moment,
Yes.
he could have said something else, which we obviously know what urban means by that.
We know what we're implying here. Your fake earrings.
Yeah,
Told
well,
the story.
Yeah, the cubic zirconiums
That's
were
right.
real, man.
Shout out, baby.
They were real.
That was a good look.
I got big timed by Swag the first time I met him. So yeah, this highfalutin like media.
Did you?
Mindset. Oh yeah.
Tried to go shake his hand. He spurned you?
I got sat next to him. It's funny in Blazers Media Row. Actually,
Yeah.
gosh, I was no more than 20. I mean, I started as an intern in this biz when I was 19, working for free for a year. And I turned to him, all squeaky voiced, excited to meet him because I listened to 1080 forever. Oh, hey, I'm Jordan Schultz. Nice to meet you. Jason Swigard turns, but that was it.
Yeah.
All right, I just got big timed by
Wow.
Swag.
I mean, he's big time, man. I mean, you know who he is? He's Swag.
You know who he ran into yesterday?
He's big time. Who, Swag or Schultz?
Swag.
No.
I got a random text at 8:30 at night. Crazy Eyes happens to be in Waikiki, and he goes, look who I just ran into. Our old engineer, Jeff Crazy Eyes McGinley.
Of all the people,
who
of course
hates
he's
Swag.
in.
Hates his Swag.
Oh, he can't stand Swag.
And he goes, look who I saw in the lobby. And it's Swag like, he's smiling next to him with a big old smile.
McGinley's on some tropical vacation. Of course he is. He's making big bucks now working in Alabama. Money
He's
goes a
working
long
in
way.
Hawaii. He's got clusters in Hawaii, I guess.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Schultz, I think a new bit for you should be the hand warming thing. You look like you're cooking up a take when you're doing your hand rubbing thing when you're talking. I think I like it when you give a hot take.
Some
Ooh,
intrigue,
yeah.
some mysterious.
There's something going on there.
It's like that one meme of the guy in the yellow jacket behind the tree. It's like looking at something like it
Yes.
tastes good. That's the Schultze look right there. Like, I'm gonna go take a bite out of that.
I met Swag in college. I knew the beat writer for Oregon State pretty well. And post game one day, I saw Swag, and I recognized Swag. I watched Primetime in college. And so he goes, you want to meet him? I was like, oh, yeah, I'd like to meet him. Try to get an internship or something. So I went up and I met him. And I said, hey, I'm Brandon Sprague. He's like, I'm Swag. Nice to meet you. Yep. And then he turned around And he just ignored me the rest of the way. And as we were leaving the room, I was with the beat writer. We're talking, and Swag walked past, and he goes, "Hey, Jason, if Brandon wanted, like, was interested in an internship or a job or anything, like, is there a contact he can?" He goes, "Absolutely." And he gives me the email, and I emailed him maybe 15 to 20 minutes later because I had an apartment right near the stadium. Never responded.
Got nothing back.
Never responded.
We got that.
Not get an email, not once.
I didn't meet Swag until I came in for my internship interview, in which I showed up in essentially a full suit and felt like an absolute idiot.
You came into a full suit?
I mean, not full suit, but I was wearing like slacks and a button shirt, and it was tucked in, like with nice dress shoes.
Nice clothes for you, right?
Like very nice.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to a wedding kind of outfit, and I walked in and I looked at what everybody was wearing, and I thought, I'm extremely overdressed.
Well,
and then it came full circle because then I was too dumpy years later.
the greatest, one of the greatest stories, you know, it's a very known thing. Isaac is one of the classic stories of 1080 The Fan, Isaac Ropp. Swag is a good story. I think there's a handful of people in 1080's history you could say is a good story. There's not a better story. I will go to my deathbed with this, and we'll start the show here.
Ooh.
There's not a better story in 1080 history than Andy Dirt Johnson. Because Andy Dirt Johnson had to overcome a few things along his journey. But one of the funniest stories is the fact that his internship ended.
Yes.
And nobody told him to stop showing up, and he didn't want to stop showing up. So he just kept showing up, and eventually they just gave him a part-time job.
Atta baby.
I just kept, they wouldn't hire me, and I just kept showing up
amazing.
until they gave me a job.
His internship was over,
Yeah.
and he just kept showing up. Not a single person was like, "You've been here for like 18 weeks now."
This is a little lengthy here.
And then eventually they needed part-time work. And like, "Yo, you want the gig?" He's like, "Yep."
You want to come in at 2 a.m. and run a Mariner game in Japan? Like, yeah, let's do it. I'm in, baby.
go.
This sounds awesome.
So there's not a better story. Don't let anybody ever tell you there's not a better story in radio than Andy Dirt Johnson. I could give you other stories, but that's for a different day. We don't need to get into how Dirt became a show host.
No, we don't.
That's fairly obvious if you followed, but if you haven't,
Hey.
that's a story for another day.
Good morning, everybody.
Merry Christmas, our last show of the day, and we have a lot to talk about. It is National Signing Day.
Yes, it is.
Are you excited?
I am excited. You know me, man. Signing day is a big one.
I think this is the most overrated day in college football now.
Sounds like somebody who doesn't have a top 10 recruiting class.
Mario has one. How you feel about that?
He's not my coach anymore.
Are you scared, though?
No, not really.
Exactly.
He didn't have a quarterback, and his offense sucks.
Exactly. Well, we'll get into that, but we will start the show where we need to start the show, the necessary start of a show, a big Blazer win. We'll start there. Dirt and Sprague on the Fan. with you. I put a poll question up. We'll get to that at 6:30.
Going to start out with Elvis, really? Going with Elvis right out of the gate?
Schulte,
Why not? Come on.
That's
now.
his least favorite musical artist.
Oh, dude, I'm so
ever.
sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. You know what? All right.
Go home, Schulte.
Yeah, you can produce the show. I suck.
Schulte, you really look
your
like you would
musical tastes.
be good in the movie Elf. Like, that outfit's amazing.
Dude, he does. That's an awesome outfit.
Thanks, guys.
Now, is that a onesie or just a sweater?
It's just the sweater.
Just the sweater
I'm
part?
not- We're waist up here on YouTube and on wherever the hell else people
You wearing
are watching
pants over
this.
there, Schulte?
Yes, I got shorts.
Okay,
No, I'm not gonna pull off. My legs aren't sexy enough to pull off like the. It's like the yellow tights or whatever. No way.
You don't think you could do it?
No, I don't have the Will Ferrell junk in the trunk, so not happening.
With NIL and the transfer portal, is the high school national signing day still a big deal? Yes or no? At Dirt and Sprague, we'll dive into that at 6:30. Your Blazers got a massive win.
They did?
Your favorite player, Ant Simons,
Yes.
closing the game out strong.
I bought a jersey of his, so he's now my favorite.
We talked very briefly on the gambling angle of that game,
Yes, we did.
and I told you I think I'd take Portland with the points. Phoenix is a weird team. And then Portland got down 15. I went, I wonder if Dirt bet on this game.
They were down 16 at the end of the first quarter. I did not bet on the game.
Okay.
I had things. We had an appointment yesterday. I had to go check on the old little dude and see how he's doing.
Teddy ball game.
Teddy ball game. His heart's ticking, so everything's going good. So I was running around and forgot that the game was happening. Did not bet it, and then saw the final score, and I thought, hey, I'm glad I didn't bet it.
You didn't watch it either?
Not a second. Not a single second of that game.
Schulte,
Not a second.
did you watch the game?
No chance.
Be honest.
No
6
chance.
minutes in the second quarter, then
Yes.
other stuff to do.
Yes. Watch a Christmas movie when we got back. It was delightful.
My wife and I
A
actually
takeout.
What are we doing here?
we got caught at a couple of other shows. Actually, like she sucked me into a couple of programs. Y'all have times when that happens. Your wife's watching something.
No, I get
What
it.
is this? So
She did what to a couple of programs? She what?
Yeah,
Huh?
you
What
started that
happened?
very controversially. She sucked.
she sucked me into a couple of programs.
Look at this. Look at that. Sounds like a nice little Tuesday.
Whatever it
Nice
takes
little-
to get somebody to sign in on
That's
that dotted line, isn't it? Huh?
Whatever it takes, man.
Yeah, she did.
Kind of NIL deal did she get?
And for her, Merry Christmas.
to me, yeah.
Schulte got
Oh.
a great gift.
Hey, all right. Happy Tuesday.
Where's the cream filling? Well, I mean, it was the Phoenix Suns.
yeah.
Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Yusuf Nurkic's illustrious return.
I got to be honest with you. I remembered that the game was happening. I saw the score.
Thank you. I'm glad you remembered a Blazer game was happening.
I got that going for me. I
Wow.
mean, they're 6-19, so let's
7.
7-19. They were down 16. I saw the score though at the end of the first quarter, and I thought, yeah, this is dumb. I'm not watching this game. And I made a conscious decision at that point. I'm not turning this on because it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
And they came back and won, so good for them. Shaden got hurt though. That's a little concerning.
He was questionable to play. He just kind of re-aggravated that injury.
I
The
did have-
abductor injury.
Yeah, I did. Look, I get it. It has to be done. I'm just going off of social media, so I don't know how over the top that they were.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
You
I
want-
can't wait to hear what you're about to say.
I have takes from the game last night.
Yeah,
These
I
are my
can tell.
takes.
I
okay?
can tell.
By the way, we have a P1 who always tweets us when the Blazers lose and says, well, what do you want? They lost. They're supposed to lose. And then when they win, it's like, hey, you got to talk about the Blazers. They won a game. It's like, what do you want? Pick a road. Okay, you can't have both roads.
Stop talking about the Blazers. They lost. Hey, talk about the Blazers.
Talk about
They
them. They're
lost.
good. They're good. Good little team. We needed to do tribute videos for Drew Eubanks and Nasir Little. That's tribute video worthy.
That is the most Portland Trailblazer.
No.
That's tribute video worthy.
Time
I mean,
out.
the Nurkic one I'm out on, but I get it. He was at least here for a long time. I was happy when he left, and it was funny to see him have a normal Nurkic performance last night, but I
told my brother-in-law I was at my nephew's basketball game yesterday. They were playing Jefferson, and we were watching this freshman basketball game, and I told my brother-in-law, I love a good, like, 3 and then a stop and then another 3 and the crowd erupts and then it's like, time out.
da, 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 da. Yeah, that's when you get going.
When the announcer goes, time out, and he says the other team, like, I love that moment.
They show Dancing Lady. She's in her little corner, and she's on the Jumbotron
Yes.
doing her dance. Everybody's singing, playing, whacking their bangers together.
Oh, man, I live for that moment in NBA basketball. Oh, I do. This is not actually the first tribute video for Drew Eubanks. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
This would be the second. The Spurs gave him one.
How long was he in San Antonio?
Like 3 seasons.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was there for that long.
Maybe 4. Look it up. But I want to say, and I hope I'm not wrong here, I know for a fact they gave him 1. They might have given him 2 when he came back. And I remember seeing and hearing about that going, really?
He was there for 4 years.
Drew Eubanks?
4 years.
San Antonio's getting a tribute video. This is the NBA.
This is what we do with guys when they come back.
It sounds ridiculous, and I don't disagree with the take. This is kind of what it is. And I heard the Nasir Little reception. I heard the Nurkic reception. And like Nurkic, okay, we gave him some cheers. Smattering of booze, but some cheers.
I love that there were a few boos in there.
Well, I mean, it didn't end well.
Good for you, Blazer fans.
Nas? Eubanks? I mean, Drew's a local guy, I guess.
I mean, look, I love both of them as Blazers. Drew Eubanks.
What do you love about Nasir Little as a Blazer? Because for me, it was largely like he
never
unfortunately
played.
got hurt again.
Yeah, he never played. He was
so like, what do you in tribute video? What was the highlight? Him on the bench?
He is the next in line of a long lineage of coulda, shoulda, woulda been players. Did you know that?
No, I don't think he is.
He would have been the number 1 recruit in the country if he would have stayed. He could have been the number 1 pick in the draft if he had gone back to college for another year. That's how skilled he was. Okay, he was a steal at the end of the first round.
What did they show on the highlight package? An X-ray? I'm asking a serious. What did you show on a highlight package of Nasir Little?
Literally the draft.
Like 8 shots?
He had one game 2 years ago that he went for like 30 at the end of the year against the Bucks. You remember that one?
When they were tanking?
I think so. He had like a takeover game in Blazer tank, and he went for like 30.
It is what it is. That's the sport now, unfortunately.
No, I think you literally show him getting drafted and then somebody talking about what Dirt just said. Like, he's really highly ranked. This is going to be a steal for the
Could have been a lottery pick if he stayed in college 1 more year, man. Lottery type potential.
I certainly miss things all the time when Dirt will bring topic up. A quote. Maybe I missed the end of something that he was going to talk about. This was a great segment. I was the only one on this show that watched that Blazer game last night, and I didn't get to talk about anything I wanted to talk about.
Well, what did you want to talk about? What was the standouts of the game last night? Fill me in, buddy.
Well, here's this is kind of my only takeaway. It's hard to really have big takeaways on a season that clearly they're not going to win a lot of games.
It's game 26 of the regular season, and they're 12 games below 500.
I don't know, man. I know we've hammered it before. We don't need to dive in because we're already against it. This Ant Scoot thing is weird to me, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think they have 2 years to figure this out because eventually Ant's just going to go, we suck. I want out. Trade me. And then you're going to go, cool. Now I might have lost Anthony Simons, who, I use my brother-in-law a lot as a diehard Blazer fan because he will watch every game. He will listen to all the casts. He will read all the things. Like, he sometimes gives me tips, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know. He's in on Ant. He wants the Ant over Scoot thing, and I don't think he's alone on this.
I don't think so either. That's the tough part about not giving somebody a full runway this year to figure out exactly what he has.
But you can't give a full runway because you've got the other guy.
And you also have Malcolm Brogdon playing 30 minutes a night.
We all in this city just get him out of here.
I love that
it's past December 15th. Trade him.
Yes.
Trade him now. Stop playing him. Trade him.
The irony
His value is health, and he gets hurt all the time. Trade him now.
He had a good game last night, too, according to the box score.
No,
not a good game.
I mean, it was man.
14. Yeah, okay. Well,
why at 14?
I chuckle because we went through an off season when the whole Lillard trade stuff was going down, and everybody said no to Miami's offer, and I get it. It wasn't a great offer, but one of the reasons was Tyler Hero was a guard. We don't need Tyler Hero. He's a guard. We don't need another guard. And everybody says, see, this is why we didn't trade for Tyler Hero. And then we turn around and we made a trade and we got a guard in return. And we ended up facing the same exact problem with another guard in the lineup.
Yeah, we did.
And Malcolm Brogdon.
And we ended up drafting somebody that ends up in a competition in the same position as Anthony Simons. Wow! Shocking. What a decision.
We drafted the same position as Dame, and then they looked us in the eyes at the draft press conference and said, yeah, this will work.
I'll never forget when I was a little kid playing basketball. I used to play on a very serious team, and then I quit basketball.
Yeah.
But this was like heyday of the Blazers in my lifetime, like late 90s. And we used to do player comps at the end of the year. Our coach would give out like awards. This is what Blazer you were for the year kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hold on. What player was Dirt?
Well, it's
Schulte, what player was
Hold
hurt?
on. No, so we're talking about a logjam of positions. The coach's son was, the only thing I could do was be a point guard because I was 4'0" and I couldn't,
Could you dribble?
I mean, I could dribble. Yeah, that was the only thing I could do.
You
can't play me at small forward.
Comparison, did you?
I mean, you're not playing me. I'm not getting Rashid here, okay? I did not. But, of course, the focal point guard of those teams was Dame. Everybody wanted to be Damon Stoudemire. He was from Portland. He's a legacy. Like, it's Damon Stoudemire. I got Greg Anthony.
I like Greg Anthony.
I mean, I do too, but it hurt at the time.
You got the other left-handed point guard.
I did. I got the one coming off the bench.
Not Mighty Mouse.
See, we had a logjam back then. We got a logjam now. We got to get rid of logjams, baby.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I did a Blazers segment on our last show of the year.
Go Blazers.
Wasted 14 minutes on that topic, I guess.
Wemby's coming to town next week.
Yeah, those tickets will be overpriced.
Yes, they will.
I'm going to the game Thursday.
Are you?
Not looking forward to it.
As in, like, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Who are they playing tomorrow?
The Wizards.
I mean, that's one you could get in for cheap. How much are courtsides?
They were free tickets.
Free tickets.
I got it's a good seat.
Are you taking the kids? Take the daughter?
take the wife.
Yeah, just take the wife.
It's a wife and I get away.
Date night.
Santa's coming soon. Wife and I need more alone time.
She's gonna go watch the Wizards. That poor lady.
Can I give you quick advice and then we'll go here to some real things?
Fire away.
As I wear a reindeer outfit. By the way, what reindeer do you think I look like? My wife was like, I think you're a prancer. And I said, bitch, I'm a vixen.
Yeah, you're a vixen. I go vixen.
Thank you.
You got a tramp stamp tattoo.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what you're doing in the stalls at night. Dude. You're getting into some weird stuff, man.
Flexibility through the roof. There's actually a Rudolph onesie. The nose came off in a washing machine.
Freaky time.
You started this off by saying your wife sucked you into a program.
That happened.
Damn right.
That
took
week
place
before Christmas, baby. What?
Let's
This was her stabbing cabin.
stop playing that drop.
Yes.
I hate that drop. That's stabbing cabin. I don't know what that guy is saying. What do you think? Let's address the poll question in college football. Get to some real things next before Schulte with the sports update.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by PG Long. Your new floors are in stock and ready to install at PG Long, your Northwest flooring experts. PGLongLLC.com. First on the Fan, the Portland Trailblazers grabbing their 7th win of the season as they beat the Phoenix Suns last night, 109-104 the final. Anthony Simons leading the way with 23 points. Jeremy Grant adding 22. Portland taking a rest day today before hosting the Wizards tomorrow night. Elsewhere in the association, lots of actually pretty fun action to watch, I would say, all over the league. Damian Lillard scoring 40, joining the 20,000-point club as well as the Bucks beat the Spurs 132-119. John Morant going off for 34, including the game winner at the buzzer, leading the Grizzlies over the Pelicans 115-113. And the Warriors bouncing back to beat the Celtics in overtime 132-126 the final. Steph Curry leading all scorers there with 33. And in the NFL, Texans rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud unlikely to be ready to go on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns since he's still in concussion protocol. That means Case Keenum going to be under center most likely again this week. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte the Elf from the Spear Mountain Sports Desk. Spirit Mountain Casino brings you big games on big screens with big-time sports betting action. Learn more at spiritmountain.com.
The original home of the Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays 9 to noon, 1080 The Fan.
Portland Perks.
Head to Portland Perks for an amazing deal at Wildlife Safari. Admission for 2 for just $28.75. Wildlife Safari is just south of Roseburg and a fun adventure for the whole family. Limited quantity available only at PortlandPerks.com.
Have a special somebody on your shopping list that loves to golf? Then you'll love Red Tail Golf Center's annual store-wide holiday sale, where you'll save up to 50% off all the gifts for your golfer, including top-name clubs, balls, shoes, apparel, and much more. All under one roof and at the guaranteed lowest prices. Red Tail has 30 to 50% off a huge selection of golf gear from Callaway, Nike, TaylorMade, Cobra, and many more. Not sure what to buy? How about a gift card so your golfer can choose what they want? And to make you merrier, we'll even throw in a $10 bonus for every $100 in gift cards you purchase. Or trade in your old clubs and get a 50% bonus to spend like cash on anything at Red Tail. Gift cards, trade-ins, and up to 50% off store-wide. All all at Red Tail's annual holiday sale, now through December 24th. Red Tail Golf Center, where we guarantee the lowest holiday prices. 1/2 mile from Washington Square on Shoals Ferry. Visit golfredtail.com for details or call 503-646-5166.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
You'll be sorry.
in Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene, Video Only.
It's Jen Latta here for Celsius Essential Energy Drink. Have you tried Celsius Energy Drink yet? With 7 essential vitamins, it's the clean energy drink that you need to stay active and energized all day long. There are so many different flavors to choose from, including my favorite, the Peach Vibe. There's the new Cosmic Vibe, and so many more. Celsius Essential Energy Drinks are perfect for the pregame tailgate or that fourth quarter comeback. Find Celsius at a retailer near you or visit Celsius.com to learn more. Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. Live fit.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Well, have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. I want payroll too.
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
In Beaverton, mostly sunny, a high of 52.
Weather brought to you by Cricket Wireless. Switch to Cricket and let your flip era unfold by getting the all-new extraordinary Motorola Razr for just $199.99. Smile, you're on Cricket.
We're going to press on, and we're going to have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white down that chimney tonight, he's going to find the jolliest bunch of this side of the nut house.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Dirt and Sprague with you this morning.
Just playing with my ponytail over here. No big deal.
You got to stop. It's creepy.
You want to rub it?
No.
Thankfully, Scott Farkas grew up to be a decent human
He's
being.
in the new one
Yes,
they made
he
last
is.
year.
I got to watch that one.
It's not very good.
No, I
but
mean, I
like-
watched it last year, but I thought it was good. I thought it was fine.
It was better than I thought.
Yes.
I thought they did a better job. The story's a little like, oh, the narrator from the original is his obituary.
Right.
That was a cool little twist.
That was nice. I liked that. We're saving our big ones. Like, I haven't watched Christmas Vacation yet because I got to be in the right mood. I got to be in total movie mode. Like, I haven't done it yet. So I think we're going to do that one on Friday or Saturday night.
We watched that the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Trust tree.
My daughter, who's 11, I'll let you
Don't
go
say
here,
if you
Schultze.
say something controversial here, Schultze, I'm going to get real pissed
Hold the
off.
take, Schultze, as you're cooking it up. I see you
He's
right
over
there.
there.
You're
He's
baking.
Okay.
My daughter's 11.
What do you got?
My daughter, I have done it right. At least with her. We'll see what happens with the young one. She loves only the old school movies.
Yes.
She doesn't like these new school ones. The only new school one that she likes is the Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell.
I've heard that one's pretty good.
Dude, he is the best Santa Claus ever.
Really?
He
That
really
good?
is. Yeah, I think he's the best Santa Claus of all the Santa Clauses that have existed. That being said, like, she saw It's a Wonderful Life on a commercial, and she goes, "Oh, I can't wait to watch that one." And I'm like, I know, we haven't watched it yet.
That's a good one.
We gotta hold it.
White Christmas, underrated.
White Christmas is a good one. Yeah, she likes the old school ones.
That's my fear, is that my kid's not going to like anything old school. Is it old soul?
You gotta just make him watch it. That's how they like it. Is that the bond is formed when you watch it.
He's going to tell me when he's 4 he thinks James Taylor sucks.
No.
I'm going to kick him out of the house.
You do need to prepare yourself for a lot of that. Kind of like, oh, that sucks. And you're like, well, that's just been my whole life.
I want to listen to Baby Shark again. Like, no.
Dad, who cares that your football team lost? Well, I mean, it's just emotionally damaged me for 28 years, but okay.
We're going to go sit down and listen to Fire and Rain, damn it. And you're going to like it.
I wasn't saying anything controversial. I've just already watched Christmas Vacation probably 100 times this Christmas season alone.
You've already watched it that many times?
It's like a comfort blanket, you guys.
Yeah.
November 1, it was the first Christmas movie I turned on.
November 1?
Yes,
Early
November
start.
1.
That's disgusting. What is wrong with you?
Do you see me?
You see
People
me?
watching the stream, I love Christmas.
If I was a deer, a real reindeer of Santa's, you'd definitely catch this reindeer at the bar on November 1. I would not be watching a Christmas movie.
You got to be getting in shape for Christmas Eve, man. We got a big day of work ahead of us.
Rudolph will pull us.
That's right. I'll be fine.
I'll be in the back. Vixen's in the back, isn't he?
I think so.
He better be in the back so you can see that tramp stamp, baby.
That's a really good point. A good poll by you.
Why would you hide that? Anyways, let's talk sports.
What is Vixen's tramp stamp exactly?
I'm picturing something barbed wiry.
You know what it is?
I don't really know if it says anything. It's more of just like a shape and a figure.
I think it's like Mrs. Claus, like bent over with her pantyhose looking back. You know, like, whoa.
See, I thought it was more like of a I love Santa kind of a phrase or something along the lines of, I don't know.
There is at least 20 to 30 people right now listening to this show going, yeah, I hate this show.
These guys are terrible.
What are they doing right now? Cares.
Is that a sport?
Get to the sports.
Let's talk about the sports today.
It's NIL day.
That it is.
I didn't do Zig or Zag either.
That's okay. Didn't we already zig or zag this week, or did we not zig or zag this week?
Didn't.
No? All right, I zig on it.
I want to carry it over, but I do genuinely, I want to ask this question. I put up as a poll question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this day still? I remember this day fondly of my time here at the Fan, and then also like my internship day. This was the craziest day.
Yes, it was.
You had to have 8 TVs on. You had to see what kid was going to commit where, who was sending the fax in, what guy online was predicting something was going to change last second. This used to be a massive day. Maybe it still is. It is not for me anymore. I say this, and you can say, well, Oregon State. I genuinely mean this as a sports fan. It registers 0% in my brain of caring, because I think the world of college football, NIL and the portal, you can point to a school like Texas and Alabama, and you can say most of those dudes were recruits who stayed and helped build those programs to what they are, and I wouldn't have anything to retort other than you're not wrong, except now pinpoint the Oregon class that's signing today, and you tell me what kids are going to be here after next year and what kids are going to hop in the portal and NIL. And I have no idea. And I think that's the hard thing for me is you do need to care about this day recruiting, but in the same sense, it's hard to care too much because I have no clue which one of these players or which groups of these players are going to bolt after 1 year.
Yeah, I would connect it with, the bolt thing is a valid argument. I think that's one of the things I'm honestly most encouraged by from Oregon's class last year is that you get a lot of these guys 1 year on campus, you get a freebie in the transfer portal. It's like, I want to go closer to home, or I want to go, somebody's going to throw more money at me, whatever the case. And I think from Oregon's class last year, the only freshman, and fans can correct me if I'm missing anybody, the only guy from that class last year is Dante Dowdell, who was a running back from Mississippi. And that was more of a he's just 4th on the depth chart, and he's not going to play a ton next year unless a guy or two gets hurt. And he just kind of sees the writing on the wall that it's a crowded room. He wants to go play somewhere, and that's the reason that he ended up transferring away. Outside of that, the rest of the class has all stayed intact. And you never know with these guys. Like Jurion Dickey's been one of these guys for a year. I'm like, is he going to stay? We'll see. Time will tell. But so far he's committed. It sounds like he's going to play in the Fiesta Bowl. I equate it very similarly to the way I feel about the NFL draft. Now, we don't know if those guys are going to enter the portal in 2 years, but we break down the NFL draft, or fans do at least, from a million different angles, and 70% of those guys don't pan out, don't play for their teams.
Yeah, maybe
right?
higher.
You're like, oh, we got this guy in the 4th round. He's an absolute steal. And you look up 2 years later, and he's never played a snap, and he got cut in training camp, and you're like, what the hell happened to that guy? I don't know.
You know who that was for me last weekend?
Who was that
Trey
for-
Sermon.
Yeah, Trey Sermon.
The Niners. That's a good little running back. I like him. He was terrible. And then he goes to the Colts, and he beats the Steelers and has 68 rushing yards. I'm like, okay, well, I guess it just
At least
random.
the take was right. At least he ended up being okay. He's having a good moment in the NFL.
He had a moment.
At least he's having a moment. So that's how I equate it. I don't follow it from a national angle of all these different schools and where all these guys are going. To me, it's more so of just what is my school doing and what are other schools that I'm competing with doing. That's the kind of the vantage point that I take it from. There is a stat out there, though, that I love, and I think it's really encouraging for the future of college football.
Hold the stat. Let's flip this over. I want to give an update on something in this, and then we'll start some previews. We have not talked at all about Liberty Bibberty. We have not talked much at all about the Sun Bowl and Tony the Tiger. We'll update that poll question, Tony the Tiger or the Frosted Flake. So we'll dive into all of that coming up next. We got some NFL to get into as well because, again, this is our last show of the year, so we got to kind of look at this week, project ahead a little bit. 2 weeks will go by before we're back on the air with games. So we'll talk all of that, get some previews next. Dirt and Sprague on the Fan. Signing day. Right now, looked it up. Oregon is 8th. They are behind Oklahoma, Miami, Texas, Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia. I feel like every year since Ryan Day's been coach, Ohio State's been 1, 2, or 3, and they can't beat Michigan. That's got to be brutal.
That's got to be really tough.
But, we talked about this, and I get it, man. Like, some Duck fans are just not going to allow themselves to think that this opinion is not Oregon State-based. Oregon State's going to get who they get. I have put no eggs in that basket and never have. It's more just the way NIL and transfer portal has changed the sport.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just tuning in, it is hard for me to get past oh, cool, they got that guy. Is he going to be there for more than a year or two? I have no idea. But it's pretty encouraging to look at the recruiting rankings. And Oregon now is just, it's not even a what if. It's like Oregon is just seemingly pinned in the top 10 year in and year out. Cristobal did it, and now Dan Lanning is doing it. In the Big Ten, they're number 2. And that's the thing to pay attention to here is conference. Ohio State obviously 1, Oregon 2, Penn State 3, Michigan 4, USC 5, Nebraska 6, Wisconsin, Purdue, Iowa, Rutgers, Minnesota. Washington is behind all of those schools. And that's something to keep following as well. But Husky fan will probably say, dude, we're going to get our 3 stars, we'll develop them, and then we'll hit the portal. And some of those Husky fans don't freak out. They think this is the anomaly. They can win at a high level consistently with that coach and blue chip recruits. Where are you at? What stat were you going to give us on National Signing Day?
Well, I'll just say that. You list off the top 10 recruiting classes in the country, and I think it shows why it's important. Not that all those teams are built solely on recruits alone, and a lot of it is transfer portal guys. But if you want to win at the highest level in this sport, you got to clean up on this day. You just have to. It doesn't mean that every player is going to hit. I think Oregon has done this on the defensive line the last 2 years, where they have taken so many front 7 players, and the thought process is 70% of them will be good. There's going to be a few in there that you just over-evaluate and they're not that good and you're going to push them out of the program in a year or two. But if you get enough guys in there, you think you hit on 60 to 70%, there you go. You got your full defensive line. So I still get excited about this day just because you never know how guys are going to turn out, but it's exciting to see who you can flip, who the commitments are. You remember the names and then you see if they can develop going forward. And it sounds like Oregon's in the mix to flip a couple of guys today potentially and up that number 8 class.
Elijah Rushing's paperwork came through. He's officially
done.
A Duck.
There's another one, Jeremiah McClellan, that's out there. He's an Ohio State committed wide receiver. He's one of the highest-ranked receivers in the country, and Oregon's been recruiting him hard, and we'll see if he flips today. I thought this was fascinating, and I have been bringing this up now for a couple of years. Name, image, and likeness, according to some, has ruined the sport. It's open free agency, and guys are getting paid, and I understand those takes, and I understand the fears. Not everybody can play in the deep waters that big boosted programs can. Mm-hmm. The thought that I had was this is not going to be a consolidation of power at a couple of small schools. This is going to spread the wealth to the big boys, and you're going to have more traditional big boys that are now becoming players. I think you've seen it at Florida State. I think you've seen it now at Nebraska. Getting Dylan Raiola. You saw it last year at Tennessee. These random programs haven't been good for a long time. Now Nebraska's got to win, but Florida State and Tennessee are back in the forefront of this sport, and they haven't been for quite some time. The end of the Jimbo era wasn't pretty. According to Rivals, now everybody does different rankings. Everybody has different rankings of players. But according to Rivals, for the first time in the history that they've been tracking recruits, the top 10 recruits in the country, according to Rivals rankings, are committed to 10 different schools.
That's amazing.
So if you go 1 through 10, each one of those guys is committed to a different school.
It's not Georgia, Bama, Ohio State,
exactly.
And then one random school.
One hey, Missouri, where did that come from?
Mississippi.
Exactly. So 10 different schools. And I thought it was a Dan Wetzel piece. He came out with this, and he was just going over all the rankings. And he said Georgia, for example, they still have 10 of the top 100 recruits in the country committed. Last year it was 12. Alabama was 14, right? But when you look at the average percentage of the kids that went to those basically top 3 or 4 schools, it was 45% of the players went to a small number of schools.
Sure.
And now you spread it out, it's a little bit lower down to 34% of them. So what I think we've seen because of name, image, and likeness is this balance at the top of the sport. It happens in the transfer portal where guys commit to a big-time school. They're like, hey, I'm not playing right away. This isn't where I wanted to be. I'm going to go transfer somewhere else. A.J. McCord just went to freaking Syracuse, for heaven's sakes. I don't know if he's going to be any good there, but that was one of the highest-ranked quarterbacks in the country 2 years
You mean
ago.
Kyle?
Kyle McCord. Who did I say?
You said AJ.
AJ McCord. Kyle McCord.
Old coworker.
Old coworker. So, I mean, you're getting a spread out at the top, and I think that stat of the top 10 players in the country going to 10 different schools is really exciting for the future of the sport.
I do think that's been the benefit of NIL for college football. You coaches, it's hard to navigate these waters. Collectives are sometimes organized, not organized. Depends on the school. Some of the bigger schools' collectives aren't very organized. It, without a doubt, has made more parity in college football.
Yeah.
Now, is Bama going to win the national championship? I think most of America would probably pick Alabama, but Texas feels like they got a legit shot. Washington should feel this way, and Michigan is the 1 seed. So if Bama wins, then yeah, some of this is going to say, oh, cool, the last 3 champions are Georgia, Bama. Okay, yeah. But I don't think this is what's tough about the sport. It's almost like, and we'll get to this with Oregon, if you don't win the championship now,
there's
a lot of fan bases that are just naturally disappointed.
Yeah.
Like if the Huskies lose to Texas, yeah, some Duck fans will chide them on social media and whatnot, but like they shouldn't. I don't think any of those Husky fans realistically, wow, man, what a bummer. What a year. Like you lost your first game in the playoff.
Right, you went undefeated.
That's a remarkable season. I jokingly said it, but I kind of mean it. I almost feel like if you make the playoff, it should be like the Final Four in college basketball. You should basically like throw a parade for that team.
I think it'll change in the 12-team playoff, but I agree with the 14 playoff.
Like TCU losing last year was not great for the sport, but like TCU got to the title game.
They did.
They upset Michigan. That was a great year. Don't let 65-7 cloud the vision of what that season meant. Throw a damn parade in Dallas. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's just tough, man. Like fan bases are never happy enough. NIL has helped. It's the portal part of that's just how many of those top 10 kids are going to stay committed to all 10 of those programs, or do they consolidate after a year or two? It's a fascinating thing. We need more data to show us what the impact of the sport is before we can truly conclude what the take should be. But to me, this used to be a little bigger, and it's still a massive day for a lot of programs, but it's hard to get invested in X, Y, and Z players if I don't know if they're going to be there after 2 years.
That's totally fair. I totally get the point. I would say nobody knows how long these guys are committed for and how long they're going to play at their certain programs. It is absolute chaos. I think it's too early on in the era of NIL and this new model of college football to judge exactly how it's going to look 5 years from now, right? So you've only had 2 or 3 recruiting classes that have gone through this with name, image, and likeness. And we'll see 5 years from now, maybe it's still Georgia and Bama winning every title. And you say, hey, look how dumb that opinion was. It hasn't been balanced out. It's the same teams every year. And that very well may be the case. But I think it connects to another topic we'll get to today, and that is previewing the college football playoff. But the reason recruiting is so important is that Washington is trying to do something this year in the playoff that has only been done once. And that is there's only one team in the history of the modern sport that has had a sub 50% blue chip ratio and won a national championship. So it tells you if you want to win a national championship,
you got to do this.
You got to get blue chips. It doesn't mean that every kid's going to pan out. It doesn't mean that every 4-star is going to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL. But the teams that win national championships are the teams that have a plus 50% blue chip ratio. The only team that's ever done it was Auburn in 2010, who had Cam Newton at quarterback, who won the Heisman, and they beat my team in the national championship. Washington would become the second because they are a sub 50 blue chip ratio. And we'll see. Maybe they're the second outlier that we've seen, or history shows us that these teams can't really compete when they get to this level because it's just a different level of talent.
Loaded second hour of the show. We dive into some of the bowl game previews for Oregon and Oregon State. Hour 2, Dirt and Sprague on the Fan and the Odyssey app.
Do you have a game?
himself as a man of faith, as there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos that will be a home run, and so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2, Dirt and Sprague here on the Odyssey app, 99.5 HD2, youtube.com/1080 The Fan, of course, 1080 AM. If you missed the first hour of the show, which extended into the second because, it's Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
The Service Patriots podcast can be found at 1080thefan.com. Check out the latest special offers for our listeners at servicepatriots.com/thefan. And the Vancouver Ford text line is 503-864-6326. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them at vancouverford.com. We'll have to get into in the second hour of the radio program. Oregon and Liberty Bibberty.
Liberty Bibberty.
The New Year's Day bowl matchup that everybody wants.
Catch the fever. It's at 10 a.m., man. I'm fired up for it.
I'm going to ask you real quick.
Yeah, what do you got, Bob?
What have you learned about Liberty, if anything? Have you dove into Liberty game prep?
I have not done any Liberty game prep. I know that their 3 best players have all opted out of the bowl game and entered the transfer portal.
Yikes.
Yeah, they have a stud defensive end who was maybe has NFL potential. He's gone. They had a corner who can play at a Power 5 level. He's also gone. And then they had one guy on, I want to say a wide receiver or something that opted out on offense. That's what I got for you on Liberty.
I did a wacky pre and post game show for us, isn't it?
Schultze, I did a Blazer segment today, and he said, I didn't watch a second of the game. And then I said, what do you know about Liberty? Nothing. Not a thing. It's Christmas, all right? It's that time
Liberty.
of year.
It's not Christmas. It's Liberty.
Well,
I'm not spending any time diving into Liberty football. I don't care about Liberty football. Really? Liberty football does nothing for me. If they were playing Ohio State, if they were playing Georgia, if they were playing Florida State, if it was an interesting matchup, I'd be all about it.
Sure.
We'd watch them play. I'm not taking time out of my life to watch Liberty highlights.
Joseph Carter is a linebacker for Liberty Bibberty.
I think you made that up.
I am not. And he said this quote, "We're a football team. We put our pants on the same way that they do. And as you know, football can go either way. I trust our team as much as anybody in the country. As long as we come to play our game, I think we can beat anybody."
I think you just made that entire thing up. I don't think any of that's real.
I did not, actually. It's from the local news affiliate near Liberty.
They have people that actually cover their program?
Random. It's like a chuckle, actually.
That was a good laugh. Well done, Schultze.
Linebacker Joseph Carter and wide receiver Aaron Bedgood spoke at the press conference on Tuesday.
They had a press conference on Tuesday?
Tuesday press conference.
They did? Look at that. Good for Liberty.
Liberty's the number 1 rushing team in the country.
Okay, that's good for them.
I learned that.
That's nice. That's a fun little factoid.
Right. What am I supposed to do with this?
I mean, I think
we keep teasing. Oh, we'll do the previews. There is no preview. Nobody cares about this game.
No, I mean, the only thing I care about is the Oregon side of it. I care about what young guys are going to play. I care about which freshmen are going to get minutes. I actually watch, if you want to know what I've paid attention to.
Yeah.
Oregon doesn't allow, most programs don't allow freshmen to talk all year. They don't do any press conferences. You can't talk to the media. That changes this time of year because a lot of your big-time names are gone. So a lot of their true freshman guys talked to the media for the first time yesterday. Mateo, Blake Purchase, Austin Novosad, and a bunch of guys, Cole Martin, who played a lot in the secondary this year as a true freshman. All those guys had their first press availability, and it was really fun to get to know those guys and to watch them. That is the only argument here. These games don't matter anymore. Half the team has opted out. Troy Franklin's not going to play. That Liberty's best players aren't playing in this game. I don't know how much we're going to see Bo Nix. It's a 10 a.m. kick. I imagine the stadium will be half full, and the ratings probably won't be very good. The only argument and angle you have for me to get me excited, twofold. One, I get to watch Bo play one more time. I'm pumped about that because he's been awesome to watch for 2 years, and I can't wait to see him again. Two, it is which young guys will play significant snaps, and how do they look? Because it can be a true springboard going into next season. And the guys that I'm most excited to see are Jurion Dickey, because everybody behind the scenes has said he came into camp banged up. He kind of got a slow start to his freshman year. He's gotten better as the year has gone on. Again, no Troy Franklin in the game, so I'd imagine his role will be increased a little bit, especially in the second half. So I'm really excited to see what he can bring. And then next year at running back, Oregon is going to lose Bucky Irving, but Noah Whittington will be back. James will be back. And so who's that number 3 back going to be? Now, I'd imagine it's Jaden Lamar, who was a big-time recruit last year from the Seattle area, and he was kind of their number 4 guy early in the year before Whittington got hurt, and then he moved up to the number 3 back. I want to see how he looks because they brought in a transfer in the running back room. He's a 6'2", 200-pound guy, but he's like a D2 guy, and who knows how those work out. I'm excited. He's a big body, but we'll see. Time will tell. But Jaden Lamar might end up having a big role in the team next year. So you can obviously go further into that with some of the freshman D tackles and all that. But those guys playing in a game that they can get invaluable experience going forward, that's what I'm excited for the Fiesta Bowl.
Okay. I mean, that's a good angle. You at least have an angle.
That's my angle. I got nothing on Liberty because I don't care about Liberty.
It really is. I truly mean this. It's a good achievement to have a year where your consolation prize is winning the Fiesta Bowl. Like, that matters to people of a certain age or older.
Yeah.
Does it not get knocked down a little bit in your mind because you're like, you kind of know your team's going to win?
I mean, you're in a lose-lose situation.
You keep saying, I don't think that's true. You win and you blow them out. Cool, you win.
It's not a game that you can brag about, though. It's not a game that you can lean back on and say, yeah, we beat X, Y, and Z
I don't think Duck fans are doing that. They are saying, hey, we had a great year. We won the Fiesta
If you
Bowl.
play Georgia and you beat Georgia, no matter how many opt-outs there are, that's a big deal. Whether it's a valid argument or not, because I don't know how many guys on Georgia's team are even playing in their bowl game. If you beat Ohio State in a bowl game after a 12-1 season. Again, their quarterback's not playing, so I don't know how much you do, but at least it's a marquee pelt that you can hang on the wall, whether it's valid or not, and Liberty is not that in any way, shape, or form.
Schultze, you ditched your dad on Oregon State fandom and you gravitated towards Oregon. You're a diehard Duck fan. Is your kind of take, is it kind of the same as Dirt's? You're just mainly caring about this game for the youth?
Yeah, I want to.
You don't care about the opponent?
Well, I mean, he brought up Jaden Lamar. Like, I think the best thing to look for during that game is, like, how Oregon is using these young guys. Jaden Lamar, supposedly, without the throwing ability, could be like the Swiss Army knife, for Dan Lanning, like Jack Colletto was at OSU, for Jonathan Smith going back to Mike Riley, So there's some interesting storylines with these young guys that, unfortunately, I really think that's all there is to talk about during this game. I don't care about Liberty. I don't care that they are undefeated. They're number 23.
They're the first CUSA team to make.
I don't give a... That's bullshit. Whatever. It's like an Oregon-Mizzou matchup, an Oregon-LSU matchup. There's so many other
Penn State,
games.
Ohio State, Georgia, Florida State.
Thank you. Go down the damn list in the top 25.
Ole Miss.
Oregon got the worst bowl draw of the entire season.
Well, there's no doubt about that. It's not an exciting thing to tease. I know we're the home. We've got pregame stuff. You guys are going to be on the pregame. I have not felt any buzz or energy from any Duck person in my life at all about this thing. And so I just don't know if this is going to be a half-hearted, hey, it's on in the background. And I hope we're up 30 when I look at the screen. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
I mean, I think fans are still going to watch. I just don't think there's not a build-up for the game like there have been in years past.
Well, you keep saying, like, you get to watch Bo, and that is 100% true. And I'm still shocked that he's actually going to put himself out there, but he is Mr. College Football.
Yes, he is.
There's a good chance that he's not playing by the second quarter of this game. If Lanning and company are pissed off still from that Pac-12 title game, and they should be, they should mop the floor with this team. This should not be a close contest. It's a non-Power 5 team. We just talked about blue chip, top 5 ratios, where you're at on that. Like, I can't even begin to gather where Liberty versus Oregon is in that department. And so this is just kind of like an easy slam dunk victory. I will say, though, there is bigger draws you could have had. Georgia, Ohio State, you named. There's something to say. Florida State's one of these. I don't care about their game anymore. Like, their best players are opting out of this game.
Oh, no doubt about that.
And they're going to get housed by Georgia, and then everybody's going to use that as the... See? You're like, wow.
Oh, well, see, Georgia's had a lot of guys opt out of their bowl game,
but
too.
Georgia, they're a better recruiter. They have way more talent than Florida State. Like, Florida State's NFL guys are gone. So it's like, I don't know who the hell is going to be playing for them anymore. There is also that, when you're in a non-playoff game, the opponent name looks good, but these opt-outs and these draft preparation guys, and I don't blame them, by the way. But it knocks it down a peg. And that's the thing that college football is, that's where they really suffer, is now
for sure
losing all of these good players on all of these teams to NFL, to transfer portal, like all of that stuff is happening.
Yeah, I would say, I think everybody... The reason I can still get somewhat excited is I feel like most teams, like Oregon's unique because Bo's going to play. I don't think he's going to play the entire game. Part of that will be score determinant. Part of that is like, just thanks for coming out. I think he wants to play one more game. He's never had the chance to play in a New Year's Six bowl game in his career. So to get to play in the Fiesta Bowl and have that experience for him, play him for a half, play him for a quarter, I don't care. But they're eventually going to be in the same category. And that's where I think you can still take something from it, is that almost every team has people that opted out. Like Oregon State last year was one of the outliers, where basically all their good guys played and all of the other teams sat it
Nobody.
out. Right, so it wasn't an even playing field. But when you go into these games, if you were playing, let's say, in Ohio State this week or in the Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Day, I think there's still an excitement because, yes, Ohio State's had a bunch of guys opt out. So is Oregon. Their starting center, who is the best center in the country, is not playing. Troy Franklin's not playing. Brandon Dorlus, I don't believe is going to play.
I didn't see anything on him.
I don't know if he's announced that or not. Bucky is like...
Both him and Bucky were
Are they going to play?
Yeah,
well, I would
think
imagine...
Lanning said Dorlus and Bucky were going to play.
Okay. I'd imagine, though, they're not going to play the entire game, right? You're not going to have them out there in the fourth quarter, even if you're playing Ohio State, so you play them in a half or something, right? So you're eventually on the same playing field. And Austin Novosad's going to get a lot of snaps. It's another guy. Like, you got a crowded quarterback room coming. Gabriel and Moore. You just signed a kid this morning. So what does Austin Novosad look like? How does he fit into that long-term window? And can he be a developmental piece? Or does he transfer in a year or two? Like, I don't know the answer to any of those questions. And so that's another thing that I'm excited to watch. But that's where, when Liberty loses their guys, it's like, yeah, I mean, they had like 4 good players and they're all gone. But if you have Ohio State, Georgia, Florida State, like, they're at least a top 10 recruiter. And so you're watching the future in most places of those programs, and that's who you're playing. And you can at least sell me on that. But opponent matters in bowl games, man.
It does.
Think your
It does.
school is a prime example of this. I don't care how many guys opted out for Notre Dame, which half their damn team did. Nobody's playing for them. But you're still playing Notre Dame. You're still going to turn the game on. It's going to be the Golden Domers on the field. You're like, hey, this is cool. We're playing Notre Dame. I don't care if it's a third-string quarterback you never heard of before. It's still Notre Dame. And that's the reality that Oregon could have had. It doesn't matter how many guys opt out for Florida State, Georgia, any of them, Ohio State. You're still playing Ohio State. You're still playing Georgia. You're still playing Florida State. It's a marquee game and a chance for a marquee win. Whether it's viewed that way around the country or not, as a fan base, there would be much more buy-in and enthusiasm for the game. They got absolutely hosed in their matchup.
I think this is the clearest way that I can say it. I would rather watch Oregon play all of the freshmen on Georgia's team. I mean, even LSU, let's go down to like 16th, 17th, 18th ranked team in the country.
That would be a funny game, Schultze. It would be funny to look down the top 25 and name every team you'd rather play than Liberty. I don't know if you would stop at any of them.
I would name you everybody in the top 25 and then add non-top 25 teams.
But then they're freshmen only. I would literally rather watch Oregon play their third and fourth
That's a good
stringers.
poll question. Would you rather watch Oregon play
Liberty.
Nothing but Georgia's freshmen than Liberty?
Yes.
That has to be a yes.
It's dumb, but at least you can say, hey, we beat Georgia. We lost 49-3 last year. We beat them this year.
Let's talk about the other game because they're having the same kind of problem. You did mention it's a marquee matchup in terms of the opponent that Oregon State has. But they're also getting a bit of the Florida taste. It's like, hey, Notre Dame, yeah, none of our players that were good this year are playing. What does it mean who Oregon State has and doesn't have? We'll dive into that next, coming up on The Fan. at Dirt and Sprague.
And they've had a lot of guys who either enter the draft or enter the transfer portal at Old Georgia.
Oregon State has Notre Dame in the Sun Bowl.
That's right, the Golden Domers.
It's coming up in just about a week. And you mentioned it there going into the break. Oh, Notre Dame has had a lot of players opt out of this.
That they have.
And you don't blame, again, I don't blame any of these players for choosing draft stock or portal stuff. Like, make your own decisions. I can't in the same breath say I let these kids make their decisions, but then also not acknowledge this does impact bowl season.
Of course it does.
It makes me not care. In the same way I told you, like, I know today's a big day in high school recruiting with National Signing Day. What's hard for me is identifying which 4 or 5 star is going to stick around. Let's play that fun game. It's a hard thing to predict, so it knocks my excitement for it down a peg. Bowl season does this on an infinitely higher level. I am excited to see Oregon State play Notre Dame. It is kind of fun to watch the Golden Domers on my television.
That it is.
It's also in El Paso, and Notre Dame is like half the team that they were this year, which wasn't a bad team, but they weren't a great team. But it's an opportunity to continue a win streak against Notre Dame all time.
There's always something to watch for, right? I mean, both these teams got 2 hands basically tied behind their back. So you have opt-outs all over the place. Half of Oregon State's roster is gone. All of Notre Dame's good players aren't playing in this game. Hartman, their quarterback's not playing in this game. The future quarterback for them obviously is not available yet, and Riley Leonard. That is the one angle that I would love to see. It'll never happen, but I would love for transfer portal guys to be able to play in bowl games.
Get a taste.
It'll never happen, but if I tell you Riley Leonard starting for Notre Dame in this game,
I'm nervous.
If I tell you Dylan Gabriel's going to play the second half for Oregon against Liberty,
well, then you have
or
something
Dante
to watch
Moore's
for.
going to get some snaps, right? Like, you got something there. Again, it'll never happen, but that's my pie in the sky. I would love to see it for the guys that commit early enough in the process. I think the whole story here is, who do we learn about? Who are the young guys that are like, yeah, who the hell is that guy? I didn't see him much this year, because there's going to be some of them for Oregon State.
Well, they have 2 corners that I'll just kind of interrupt you here on that. Noble Thomas is practicing for him, getting ready for this game. He's battled injury. And Jaden Robinson, also somebody. So I think you're looking at what is the future. I mean, you're looking at cornerback.
Sure.
Offensive line. No Josh Gray. He's injured. Fuaga's opting out because he's getting ready for the NFL. You know, they lost maybe the best offensive line coach in the country. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of curious to see what the weird thing with Oregon State, Dirt, is you have things that are returning and the continuity seemingly will stay the same.
Yeah.
You didn't lose Will Stein to any jobs. Your defense is intact. It doesn't sound like Taj Lapoy's going anywhere. And, oh, by the way, your head coach is the defensive guy. So what you're looking for, I like, because it's continuity. It's going to turn over and be the same. This is a weird situation with Oregon State because they will have a lot of players play that are returning.
Right.
But not for the coach who's coaching in the game. And not for any of the staff that's going to be on the staff next year. It's a kind of a weird spot. You can look for these guys. I love that Dashel wrote, Oregon State's defense is largely intact outside of Easton Mascarenas Arnold, who's gone, and Keely Arnold. So their top safety's gone.
Top corner's
and their
gone.
top tackler is gone.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it's intact, but not intact. It's a weird spot Oregon State is in because this coaching staff isn't the coaching staff, and some of these players, you know, they'll come back, but I don't know how it's all going to sort itself out once the new staff gets in place.
That is kind of a bummer of this game, but I get why he didn't do it. I wish Trent Bray was coaching because I think that's a whole nother angle of just clock management. How aggressive is he going to be on 4th downs? Like, every coach has a different DNA and they go about things a different way. And I would love to see how Trent Bray handles certain moments in this game, whether it's a blowout, whether it's a close game. He has learned something at least. But again, I get it. He's got signing day and portal, and he's got a lot on his plate. So I understand why he's not. I think the main guy you're watching for here, and I know Oregon State fan has their sights set a little bit higher. Maybe it's a Malik Murphy. Maybe it's somebody else that we're not talking about yet. Maybe it's Ty Thompson. I don't know. But there's a chance that Ben Gulbranson's your starting quarterback next year. There's a chance that that's the case. Now, he won a lot of games for you last year, won your bowl game for you last year. So the guy's played a ton, but we haven't seen him play in a calendar year. Did he get into a game at all this year?
I don't believe he did. He might have got into the Stanford game because they housed Stanford like 62 to something. I think he played 2 possessions in that one.
He attempted 1 pass against Stanford for 6 yards. So he was 1 for 1 for 6 yards on the season. So I know you've seen him before, so it's not a freshman, it's not a new face, but we haven't seen him take a significant snap in a year since the Vegas Bowl last year. And so what does he look like? What kind of offense are you going to run?
Well, they're still trying to battle and get Malik Murphy. So if Malik Murphy comes to Corvallis, he will be the starting quarterback.
Yes.
What's funny about that, though, is if that happens, Your last 2 bowl victories are from the quarterback who wasn't the starter, and it's the same guy who's the backup.
Who you won't hand the job to because he's evidently not good enough, and you got to move on.
I hope. I'm rooting like hell for him. I want to see. They have some young guys to watch for. It's a little different at Oregon State than it is Oregon, obviously. But I'm excited the opportunity to go 3-0 against Notre Dame all time.
Yeah,
and
dude. It's Notre Dame. It's always big to beat Notre Dame.
It is. That game is sold out. And I'm not saying Oregon State fans not going to it, but I'm just gambling on that Notre Dame is largely the reason for the sellout.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious to send all of those people to El Paso, Texas to watch their team lose.
Yes, it would.
To a team that is significantly out-recruited by them.
Yes, it would. I think it's a great way. Look, winning and losing bowl games doesn't matter a ton for most teams, right? Like, if my team loses, it's a national embarrassment. You can't lose to Liberty. If your team loses, everybody will get it. Like, look what we went through. Our coach left. I remember when Oregon played in the Vegas Bowl after Taggart left, and Cristobal had his first game, and all the guys opted out. They got drilled by Boise State. You just never know what kind of mentality your team's going to be in. But I will say, for everything that Oregon State has been through, doesn't change your future, doesn't change the circumstances. It's still bleak, it's still dark. At least it's a ray of sunshine in a thunderstorm of like, hey, look at that. We won 9 games this year and we beat Notre Dame in a bowl game.
Unless you don't. And then Notre Dame beats you with their backups, and you're like, oh.
I mean, there's a good chance that happens.
There's absolutely. I'm not going to dismiss that chance. I don't even know what the spread of that game is. That's one of the games I actually haven't looked at lines-wise.
Let me pull it up.
I'd assume Oregon State is a favorite?
No.
Notre Dame?
No. I want to say when I did the bowl.
What was Notre Dame last time you saw it?
I wanted to say it was like 10, but maybe
was
I'm misremembering.
10?
No, 6.5. Notre Dame 6.5.
I mean, that's a juicy little number to take.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited for them. I hope all those players that stuck it out, they got their guy. They're going to be there next year. They're going to get this playing time. Go out and operate and finish this thing off. Like, that's kind of my goal. It's a real big bummer, by the way. Massive bummer and weird handling of this whole Damian Martinez situation.
It is, because if you had him, at least you'd have one guy you could hang your hat on, and you don't have that.
And it's National Signing Day for high schoolers. This is why I tell you my excitement knocked down a peg. Oregon just landed Kansas State safety Kobe Savage.
That's a big one.
It's maybe the biggest. He's second team all Big 12. I know what he is. I know what he's going to be, and I bet he's going to fit perfectly into a Dan Lanning defense. To me, and Elijah Rushing, I know is a part of this recruiting class. He could be a monster. I think Kobe Savage is maybe the biggest win for them today. That's a transfer guy. So it's like, it's a weird balance of you need to build up high school recruits with this. This is what it is. But also, like, you bring in these key guys in key positions. That could be the biggest pickup for Oregon in the offseason.
There was a position of need. They needed a safety. Their safety play was not great, especially in pass coverage last year. He's a guy that's better against the pass, and that's a big-time pickup, no doubt.
Update on the Sun Bowl poll question that me and Schultze got into yesterday. Who is the bigger deal? Tony the Tiger or the Frosted Flake itself?
Ooh.
Tony the Tiger running away with it, 70.8% beating the Frosted Flake. The thing you actually buy to eat. Lost to the mascot of the thing you want to eat.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm not right about everything, and I'm still riding high on my Krunoff win. So
no,
we're good.
Can I say
we're good.
You don't need to like say, oh, who cares? It's a dumb poll question.
Stand by your opinion, Schultze.
No,
I
don't even think it's the worst take. I just think Tony's got such a reputation. Is there another food item that is outflanked by the mascot of the food item in our world?
Ooh, well, I would have said Aunt Jemima, but that's racist now. So I don't think they sell that anymore, the syrup, because that was literally in the shape of Aunt Jemima at one point. When we were kids,
yeah,
the syrup came in.
But you didn't buy Aunt Jemima unless you needed syrup for waffles and pancakes. There's a million cereals, and people may be saying they buy Frosted because they see Tony, and they're like, well, it's great.
I
Tony
mean,
the Tiger.
Lucky Charms guy. See, I don't even remember
I would say
his
Miss
name.
Buttersworth was more popular than Aunt Jemima.
Okay.
Yeah, Buttersworth's good.
Buttersworth is a little bigger, and it's built.
Oh, it's magically
thick.
delicious. I mean,
Two C's.
Yeah. Got that booty.
Here's another one. I'm lazy. I like to
for Lucky Charms.
I like to do biscuits once in a while. I'm lazy though. I won't home make my biscuits. Is the Doughboy bigger than pills like the biscuits?
Yeah, I'll give you that one. That guy's more I'm with you on that. You rub his little belly button, he's laughing, he's giggling.
Let's go back to my youth. Is the mitten on Hamburger Helper bigger than the helper?
So I'm just thinking about the Family Guy cutaway where the less smart Mitten is the cheeseburger helper guy.
Yes.
I'd say probably that's not appropriate.
I'm
for
trying
radio.
to think of like food items that have mascots that might be the most popular part of the
that's
food.
A good one.
I'm having a hard time even like thinking of like good food mascots that would overshadow it because there's big ones, but none of like Mr. Peanut got texted in.
That's a good one.
That's not bad. Like Colonel Sanders was the first thing that popped into my head, but he's bigger than the chicken.
The Trix rabbit, which I always wanted to eat Trix, by the way.
Because of the rabbit?
Yeah,
Tricks are for kids.
Well, no. I'm saying I wanted the Trix rabbit to actually eat Trix because they're not just for kids; they're for whoever the hell has the money to buy them.
I always thought Kix did the wrong thing. They were like, kid tested, mother approved. I'm like, I don't want to eat the thing my mom wants me to eat.
No, that's not good. That's not a good endorsement. Your parents don't want you to eat this. Now I'm all in. Give me the whole box.
Give me all the sugars.
That's right.
All right, there's the update. Oregon State plus the 6.5. I'm all in. God, I hope they win. It's going to be really depressing if they lose that
Early
game.
morning Friday game next Friday.
I know. Just win the game.
11 a.m. kick in El Paso, Texas.
I want to be 3-0 against Notre Dame.
It's a hell of a record.
We have more bowl games to preview. We got the NFL to talk about. We're spreading the line today, aren't we? We are. Or are we just going to tweet those out?
No, we'll spring the line today.
Okay.
We don't have Swag's picks, though. We got to get Swag's picks.
He's 3 hours behind us. It's 4 a.m. He's not awake.
I'm sending a text right now.
Okay.
Let's go, Swigard.
He told me to specifically, if I had any issues in the morning, try to plan ahead and make sure I had those issues the evening before the show.
Think of the issues the night before and call me the night before.
Like when I can't move it. Yeah. Well,
Based on the photo I got, Schultz, he got house last night.
He's having fun in Hawaii.
He enjoyed a cocktail or 8 at the Waikiki Hotel Bar and Lounge is what I'm guessing.
Waikiki is heaven. That is my heaven. So I'm very jealous of him.
Really? I think Maui's better.
Maybe I just like the city feel, but like the Marriott.
See, that's my
hotel,
thing. I don't want a city on the beach feel.
I don't know, man. Looking across my hotel balcony at Waikiki Beach and seeing all the talent there, it's like that is where I belong. Thank you.
Look at this, look at that.
Yep.
You have a podcast story to share at some point about your personal life. Everybody at the fan talks about it. We all just want it. I want all the details. You are a connoisseur of strip clubs.
And I want them now.
You're looking out your balcony. What did you say? Eyeing the talent, and I want some of that. What did you just say?
I said that it's a great view. It's like, yes, please. I don't know. I want some of that. I got to go back and listen. I don't remember anymore.
You blacked out, didn't you?
I did.
You need to do a podcast.
So happy about
Schultze's Personal Deets, episode 1.
The Dirt with Schultze.
Yeah, my wife might not like that.
Let's continue the preview before we get Schultze in trouble. We'll Sprague the line at 8:30. Dirt Sprague back with more on the Fan.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. Their butchers, all trained chefs, eager to help with cooking advice. Get to know your friendly neighborhood butcher online at laurelhurstmarket.com. First on the Fan, it's National Signing Day, and among the 13 official recruits joining the Ducks so far today, that number will grow. It was 8 like an hour ago, now 5+ now. We're at 13, and it will get bigger. Oregon State obviously looking at some players as well, but Oregon getting a 5-star linebacker in Elijah Rushing, another prominent guy that they were looking at. 4-star safety Aaron Flowers, and a big transfer. The Ducks grabbing Kansas State's safety Kobe Savage. He'd entered the transfer portal, now a Duck, so shoring up that secondary. And once again, signing day just getting started. On to the association. The Portland Trailblazers grabbing their 7th win of the year. They beat the Suns last night, 109-104. Ant Simons leading the way with 23. Jeremy Grant adding 22. Portland off today before hosting the Wizards tomorrow. Elsewhere around the association, Dame scoring 40. Also joining the 20,000-point club as the Bucks beat the Spurs 132-119. Ja Morant going off for 34 points, including the game winner at the buzzer, leading the Grizzlies to win over the Pelicans 115-113. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze the Elf from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Spirit Mountain Casino brings you big games on big screens with big-time sports betting action. Learn more at spiritmountain.com.
If you can't find the humor in today's NBA, you're doing it wrong. Heat Check with Trista Crick on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's the year-end clearance at Motorsport Hillsboro. We're blowing out one of the nation's largest pre-owned inventories. 3 warehouses of motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides, plus special purchase units from KTM, Gas, Husqvarna, Kawasaki, Honda, and Can-Am will allow you to save thousands. We aren't messing around. We want your business. We offer the Northwest easiest financing, and nobody works harder to get you in the dirt or dunes on a Motorsport pre-owned or special purchase. Apply online at motorsporthillsboro.com.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Hey, it's Suk for A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Installing a new train system was one of the best decisions I made when remodeling my home. Before my upgrade, I talked to several companies, but I am so glad I chose a team that focused on the whole home comfort and not a quick fix. The team at A&E takes the time to educate their customers so you can make the right decision for your home and your pocketbook. Repairs or replacements, call A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air or visit aeheatingandcooling.com, your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. CCB number 2030004.
Your home, your savings, your children. Everything that matters to you is at stake in a divorce, and for many of our clients, a divorce was unwanted. This is Rick Jones. At Goldberg Jones, our team of experienced attorneys handle every aspect of a divorce and custody case. When stakes are high, you need a lawyer you can trust. Husbands and fathers, trust Goldberg Jones. Call 1-800-DIVORCE and get your phone questions answered at no charge.
Serving the greater Portland, Vancouver area.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This holiday season, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to hand-stitched leather jackets, our in-store experts will help guide you as you shop, assisting with boot fitting and providing complimentary hat shaping. This holiday, share a piece of the American spirit. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back in. 7:41 on your Wednesday morning.
Brenda Lee.
Big Brenda Lee fan. How are you not? Did she do anything other than Christmas music? I've never listened to a Brenda Lee non-Christmas song.
I would assume so, but she this year for the first time got #1 record in music.
She did?
Yeah, this song it's become a cult classic, obviously.
She's still alive.
Yeah.
She's still ticking. 79.
They were saying how she had just set history.
That's pretty badass.
I can't remember how long it's been since she did this song.
Some of the most successful songs of hers include Sweet Nothings, I'm Sorry, I Want to Be Wanted. I feel like Sweet Nothings is one.
We probably have some listeners that are like, oh yeah, man, Brenda Lee's got a catalog.
Like, how do you not know that?
But this one recorded all the way back in 1958. She is 79 years old.
Yeah. 79, man. Going strong. A couple of good thoughts came in on the bigger mascot than the food item.
You want a fun fact real quick?
Yeah, what do you got?
You know when Clark gets stuck in the attic? And he's watching the old films before he gets thrown down?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know that it's exactly this year, the same gap between him and that time and those films and us and that movie being made?
Oh, stop it. All right, cool. I feel.
Did you see? I had one of those yesterday. Did you see you guys didn't watch? I didn't watch it either. Did you see were their starting quarterbacks in the bowl game last night?
Yeah, I did. I felt really old, and I told my brother-in-law, who's a Dolphins fan, and he couldn't believe it.
It was UTSA, and who were they playing again?
Marshall.
The
Thundering Herd.
It was Chad Pennington's kid. And who was it?
Josh McCown's kid.
McCown's kid. It was a McCown versus a Pennington kid quarterback battle.
You wait till we get a Manning versus Brady in a bowl game.
Oh, God, dude. Talk about feeling old. That's just brutal. Some thoughts that came in, though, on the mascot, the Jolly Green Giant.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Outflanks the vegetables. Nobody gets excited about vegetables.
The Kool-Aid Man came in.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. Captain Crunch came in.
Captain Crunch is a great one.
Crunchitize me,
I mean, there's a
Captain,
lot of cereal ones that you could probably point to.
What about Jimmy Dean and his sausage?
Give me some Jimmy Dean sausage.
That's a pretty good one. It's hard to...
I enjoy their commercials.
So do I. And if I need to make...
dude, get right to the meat.
That's a good commercial.
I love meat.
If I make biscuits and gravy, I just go grab the 1 pound Jimmy Dean sausage every time.
That's how you go to, yeah.
What
I
about
do
the
this with-
Marlboro Man?
Yeah? Well,
Marlboro Man. I mean, it's been a while, but that guy.
Now we're all soft. Thanks, Obama.
We can't advertise any of that crap anymore anywhere. It's America. What happened?
we found out what it does to you is what happened.
Yeah, we can still eat ourselves to death.
Somebody's had a fun fact.
You're not wrong there,
Brenda Lee was 13.
You get a free airplane ride now.
You do.
With an extra seat.
On
if you're
Southwest.
They give you double the seats if you're big enough.
Yeah.
All right.
What the hell happened there? I'm going to start pounding some more cheeseburgers so I get a little more elbow room.
That was an interesting decision.
To give away free seats on an airline?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think it'd go the other way of if you're that big, we're going to charge you more.
Need you to pay
because you're causing us to use more fuel.
Was that the thing originally?
No, but if you were going to make a decision one way or the other, that's probably the way that I would have made the decision.
Have either of you ever sat next to an overweight person on a plane?
Oh, yeah.
Like to the point where they're on you, essentially?
Yeah. It's not fun.
No,
Not
for
fun.
4 hours going to Dallas-Fort Worth, I'm pretty sure my back is still tweaked from that 4 years ago. It's like, I'm sorry, like you are a human, you exist, but we need to look at the facts of this situation here. We don't fit together.
This is not my fault. I did not do this. This is not my fault.
I had an experience like that, but it'll never beat the Korean man on the 13-hour flight from Seattle to South Korea that took his socks and shoes off.
Hey, get comfy, man. You got to be on there for a while.
And farted like 8 times as he was asleep.
That's offensive.
Let it go,
He
dude.
was watching Home Alone on an airplane, smelling a Korean fart. It's great.
How are the Korean farts? Are they good?
A little spicy.
A little spicy?
Spicy.
I'm a big fan of Korean foods. I don't know. You know
I like Korean food.
Maybe the farts are good, too, coming
spicy.
out. You never know what it's going to smell like.
Cat pervert.
I'm going to try and get back on the clock here. We went a little long in the last segment.
I've destroyed the show.
Let's try and
what happened.
Try and get back on track here.
Sorry.
I do want to talk about the college football playoff games because we have not talked much about them. So we got to preview those quickly. We'll do that coming up in the next segment. We are going to Sprague the line today. It is our last show before the holiday break. So get your fake sponsors in. We're going to Sprague the line at 8:30. Got a couple of NFL news and notes to get to, including the big game on Monday night, which I'm very excited for in San Francisco and Baltimore. We still got a lot to get to. Let's talk a little college football playoff next on The Fan.
Who's stinking it up?
Do not go in there.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up, a sports lowlight that's ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Plumbing. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainsplumbing.com.
Simon's off the screen, and then the cut by Eaton. The bounce pass to Henderson picked off easily, and here come the Suns. Slashing in, going hard with the left hand.
There's Kevin Calabro on Root Sports. The first time in Stinking It Up history, we've got a winning team and a player on that team, Scoot Henderson. 5 turnovers is stinky.
He's stinky. I would have gone the Phoenix Suns are stinky. How do you lose to that Blazer team and allow them to shoot 50% from 3? They shot 50% from 3. That's embarrassing.
How is it not the Suns? Schulte doesn't like Scoot.
You're out on Scoot.
I went 3 for 9, too.
Wow.
0 of 2 from 3.
Bust.
Great job.
We're going bust here. We're going bust early on bust.
We're going bust. I'm that guy.
Who's stinking it up? Scoot's turnovers and the Phoenix Suns. Brought to you by Three Mountains Plumbing. Make plumbing and electrical services delightful. Get your time back. Let the pros tackle whatever projects you need completed. Schedule an appointment online. Three Mountains Plumbing. That's threemountainsplumbing.com.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Let's talk some college football playoff. Should be noted the progress to flipping Jeremiah McClellan. Mentioned name earlier. Looks like it's going to happen.
Oregon's going to get him, the wide receiver.
Looks like it.
There you go.
So keep an eye on that. Signing day continues.
Nimick with an interesting quick blurb here. I retweeted it at Dirt and Sprague. How much did Jonathan Smith leaving Oregon State hurt in recruiting? 90 commitments since November 25th. They rank 109th. For context and comparison, Washington State in the Pac-2 with them didn't lose their coach. They're 63rd.
Yeah, that's also not counting. I mean, I know that they had a wide receiver, and obviously Cam Ward left, but some of their other guys, like you could have had a mass exodus on that roster probably too, and it didn't quite happen in the transfer portal either.
And then Smith has flipped a few of those Oregon State. He got Velling to transfer over, Childs to transfer over. And I actually just read a thing on him on, I want to say 24/7. Done a pretty good job considering the timeline of how all of this has happened in the last couple of weeks for him.
I'm going to be really curious to see how the next 2 years go for him. If I only gave you one playoff game to watch, which one would you pick?
I have to go Texas, Washington.
Local angle, you got to go UW?
I think you have to. Whether you hate the Huskies or indifferent on the Huskies or root for them, I think it has to be the local team, a local-ish team, the team in the Northwest, against a pretty powerful offensive juggernaut who's being coached by the former Washington coach. I think it's that one because, again, I think whoever wins the Bama-Michigan game, everybody's going to pick to win the title.
Yes, although it will be interesting if Texas wins the game and Alabama wins and you get a rematch and Texas already won in Tuscaloosa.
You're not wrong, but people are going to zig on that zag because, well, they won the last one, so Bama's going to get the payback. It'd be like the LSU championship game. They beat them in the regular season, and then they lose the title game, and, Bama's better. It's like, well, it was 1-1.
They also lost the game,
But, yeah, I'm voting Texas-Washington. I don't think we'll get nearly as high amount of points as people think, but I think it'll be in the low 30s, which is kind of a sweet spot. You get some good offense, and then you get some defensive stops once in a while. Maybe most of America votes Bama, Michigan, because that may be the national championship to some, but I'm going to take Texas UW.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like, and maybe I'm totally wrong on this, I couldn't have been more wrong on the playoff last year. So take everything I'm going to say with a grain of salt. I thought
nobody had TCU.
I thought Michigan was going to kill TCU, and I thought Georgia was going to kill Ohio State, and Georgia was lucky to win, and Michigan lost outright to TCU. I actually think if there's a game that has a chance to get lopsided, it is the Alabama-Michigan game. With Alabama winning that way. Like I look at this. You
don't think Michigan could house Alabama?
I don't. I would be shocked if that happened. Like floored, head sewn to the carpet, shocked if Alabama if they get
good reference.
I mean, I'm wearing the jersey. I got to go that way. If Michigan blows out Alabama, that's the most surprising outcome to me of the entire playoff. I think nobody has
the entire
playoff.
UW beating Bama in the national championship game.
not as surprising as Michigan blowing out Alabama, not winning the game, blowing out Alabama.
Wow.
Like I don't see how that happens. Again, famous last words. Now Michigan's going to kill them. I look at the matchups of Alabama. Michigan's strength is running the football. They want to be physical at the line of scrimmage. That's how they beat people. Like Alabama can go toe to toe there with anybody in the country.
Yeah, are you going to out physical Alabama?
No, you're not. So you're going to need J.J. McCarthy to make some plays, and maybe Milroe's not good enough with his arm, and that's why Michigan wins a close game. But I think that game has a chance of they bottle up the run. McCarthy panics. All the pressure of losing back-to-back playoff games starts to mount as the game goes on. Next thing you know, you look up and you're like, damn, they're down by 20 again. Thanks for coming, Michigan. I think Texas-Washington is going to be a fantastic football game.
I do too.
I think each team has warts and has weaknesses that the other ones can take advantage of. Texas's secondary is not very good. Washington should be able to throw the ball on them, vice versa. Washington's defense, I'm not going to overreact to one game, largely has not been very good this year, and it's been kind of a weakness of their team, and I think Texas is going to be able to move the ball on them. I know Worthy got hurt in the second half of the Big 12 title game, and they haven't said anything on his status.
His X-rays were negative in the game, and it sounds like there's going to be enough time here because we take a month off from football.
He's got a month to get healthy for that game.
I would be a little surprised if he didn't play.
I mean, you're talking about Quinn Ewers, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell are probably the best combination of wide receivers that they have seen all year, and they've seen some good ones in USC, and Oregon had some good wide receivers, but Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell, if Worthy is healthy, that's as good as it gets in the country, and I think people kind of forget about that, and so I think this has the chance for fireworks. You break it down a million different ways, but most of those games come down to who's got the ball last, who makes a dumb turnover, where's there a big penalty in a key situation to either extend the drive or stop a drive, who misses a field goal. Like, that's what these kind of games end up getting decided on, and I can't wait for that game.
I'm hoping to see a Rome Odunze big game from him. him so the rest of America that still maybe hasn't paid enough attention to him can see how truly gifted and special he is. What is your likelihood of winners out of this deal?
Like percentage breakdown?
I think you're picking. It sounds like you're picking Alabama over
Definitely
Michigan.
taking Alabama over Michigan.
Okay, so would you put Alabama number one, most likely to you to win the title?
I would.
So who's second?
God, that's a good question.
And then who's third and who's fourth? Is UW fourth on that? I mean, I know if we could remove the green and yellow for a second.
Yeah, I think I would go 1, Bama, 2, Texas, 3, Washington, 4, Michigan.
And the least amount, not that you don't respect it, but like of the four.
I think it's a matchup wise, right? If Michigan was playing Texas, I don't know if I'd feel the same way about them. Or if Michigan was playing Washington, I don't know if I'd feel the same way about them.
I was really wanting that matchup.
They have to play Alabama
Texas,
in the first
Michigan,
game.
Or Washington, Michigan.
And maybe I'm overreacting too much to Bama winning one game because the week before they beat Georgia, they should have lost the Iron Bowl and they wouldn't have been in the college football playoffs. So maybe I'm overreacting too much to one game. There's just an aspect of you give Nick Saban a month to prepare. Good luck, dude.
But
Good luck.
What's funny, I was going to throw that at you. So it's a Saban situation, which we don't want to gamble against. They have Harbaugh. But what's weird about that to me is, as much as I respect Harbaugh's football acumen and knowledge and coaching ability because he's proven it time and time again, he only coached 3 games, and we have removed any of the cheating left. And Alabama, by the way, added a Michigan staffer that they had to fire because they got caught cheating.
Yes.
So it sounds kind of disrespectful to Harbaugh given his pedigree, but I kind of lean on that too. Saban with a month against a team that's McCarthy's not the worst, but I don't think he's truly special. Yeah. And if they can't run the ball with Blake Corum, what are they?
Right.
3rd and 8? 3rd and 10?
Yeah, it's exactly what happened 2 years ago when they played Georgia. Now, this Alabama team is not that Georgia team, so I'm not making that connection. And I think Michigan at quarterback is slightly better because he's better than the dude that Cade McNamara. I think McCarthy's an upgrade from him. But that's what happened in that game. They couldn't run the football. You put the ball in your hands of a quarterback who's a little untrustworthy, who's not necessarily one of the best in the country. He's good, serviceable, but not one of the truly elite guys. And he can't beat a defense like that on his own. I don't know if they have the weapons on the outside to do it either. Whereas on the other side, I do trust Saban. I trust Alabama winning up front. Their offensive line was terrible for the first half of the season. That was one of their big problems. And then they got in the SEC title game and they bullied Georgia up front. And there's an aspect.
They only won the game by 3 too, right?
I know they did, but that's also Georgia hadn't lost a game in 2 years. Georgia to everybody was the best team in the country, so I'm not going to criticize only a 3-point win. When I see somebody do that up front to Georgia,
those are the horses.
That's the best team. That's the biggest and strongest team in the country. And
they might be the best team in the country still, and they're not in the playoff.
They could. They just lost a game, and they had a fluky turnover in that game, and maybe they win it if they don't have that fluky turnover. So, I don't know. I have a hard time there. I think the matchup for Texas-Washington, though, comes down to, can Washington stop the run of Texas? They did it against Oregon, but at times this year, they really struggled against the run. If you allow Texas to be balanced, just good luck stopping that offense because they're that good, and vice versa. Washington has won games lately. It's funny how it's always the same theme, but they won the Pac-12 championship game in my mind because of their ability to run the football, which I didn't see coming, and that's why I think they won that game. Penix was awesome, made some unbelievable throws. Odunze was great. Them running the football to keep Oregon balanced and having to bring extra bodies up and all that. Texas has one of the best defensive lines in the country. Go look at the awards and the All-American teams. Their D tackles are as good as anybody's in college football. If they can bottle up Washington on first down, put Penix into those long yardage situations, I think that's the advantage for Texas.
See, and certainly the defenses of these two teams is going to be pivotal. Which one can get a stop at a right time or which one can create a turnover. I kind of think it boils down to as simple as this. Which coach on the sideline is going to expose the other weaknesses?
Yeah.
Is DeBoer, who's what? Is he 18-1? What is his record?
What were they, 10-2 last year and 13-0 this year?
There's something like his last 9 games or whatever it was. I can't remember, but he's only. Obviously they went 13-0 this year.
They have not lost a game since the Arizona State game last year.
I mean, that's an insane run.
Mm-hmm.
And my point on that is, can he, as much as we give the compliment to the defensive lineman of Texas, it ain't like Oregon had chump change on the defensive line, and
they're not quite that good, but they had a good defensive line.
Yeah, and they had a couple possessions where they caused some havoc, but they largely got the ball out quick, and they were able to kind of surprise people with how they were moving those guys.
Mm-hmm.
It might be as simple as, what does Sark scheme up versus what does DeBoer scheme up, right?
Totally.
Who exposes the weaknesses? And for all the UW defensive weaknesses, and statistically they're there, I mean, it's so corny, but it's true. They show up in the spots they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Their cornerback play is good. I thought their front seven played better as the year went on. And so Texas has secondary weaknesses, and we'll see what the health of Worthy is when he's actually out there having to run. And I'm curious to watch so many aspects of that game, whereas I look at the other and I just go, physical. Who's winning the line of scrimmage? Okay, they're going to win that game between Michigan and Bama.
20-17 final, run the football.
Yeah, and I that's certainly an important thing in Texas-Washington, but I just think there's a little more nuance and other things surrounding that matchup.
Agreed.
Than those two lines and how they go against each other.
Last thought on this. We can carry this over a little bit too in the final hour for one because we're already in the final hour.
Yeah.
There was something that was brought up for the Pac-12 title game that I thought was valid, and it reared its ugly head. Washington was more battle-tested than Oregon, and when you get into these tight, uncomfortable games, Oregon, to their detriment and to their credit, they only played 2 close games all year. They blew everybody else out. It was Texas Tech and Washington. Every other game was a multi-score game essentially in the fourth quarter. And Texas has not been that way this year. So Washington had that advantage over Oregon. Texas had to go into Alabama and win. They had the Red River shootout rivalry, whatever they call that stupid game now. They had close games essentially down the stretch.
I thought they were the Big 12 Huskies, to be honest.
They were. Their quarterback got hurt, and they barely beat Houston. They barely beat Kansas State. They barely beat TCU. All those were tight, uncomfortable games in the fourth quarter of, oh God, pucker factor. If we lose, our season's over. So they're battle tested in that regard as well. Your thoughts on the game? Welcome. 503-864-6326. And we'll read some thoughts to start the final hour. Sprague the line at 8:30. A couple other bowl game thoughts, some NFL thoughts as well as we wrap up our year. It's our last hour of radio before the end of the year, and it starts next on The Fan. 1080 The Fan if you want to see Schulte dressed up as an elf in there. He's got a Christmas little Santa hat on. Sprague is dressed up as a reindeer.
Well, Vixen.
Yeah. And I am Clark Griswold and Scott Farkas rolled into one.
That's a dangerous combination.
It's not a good combo. You never know what's going to come your way.
I had a feeling you were going to wear the jersey because I knew you had it, but you replied in a text the Cousin Eddie emptying the RV into the sewer gif, and I just thought, is he really going to come in here with a Speedo and a bathrobe?
I thought about grabbing the wife's bathrobe and wearing that in today.
Yeah.
But I have to I could have changed.
Would have been perfect.
I have to stop and get a couple of things on my way home today, and then that just complicates things for me.
So I'll give you full disclosure. we got something that I have to pick up after work. Like, I have to race there and pick it up. It's in the middle of nowhere, Oregon. And I was about to leave my house, and my wife, who was awake, goes, "You're going to roll up into somebody's, like, farm wearing a reindeer onesie?"
Yeah, that's...
And when I should pack some pants, you're right. I need to bring pants to that party because I will look like a weirdo. Hey, you got that thing I'm buying?
I'm walking up in a reindeer onesie.
Obviously, I need to get it for the big guy.
My name is Vixen. Good morning.
Also would be the worst name to throw out. Hey, you know what reindeer I am? I'm Vixen.
That's right. Feeling naughty today. And as happened, Jeremiah McClellan, 4-star wide receiver, is flipped from Ohio State to Oregon. So we talked about that earlier, potentially happening. That has happened. I don't know if he signed his...
I just heard that he's flipped.
Yeah, and Lanning is tweeting out duck emojis. I don't know if that's McClellan and the Kobe Savage kid we talked about earlier, but we'll let you know if anything else happens here in the last hour of the show.
I always feel for any sports fan of a team who doesn't know what emojis mean for their coach. It's like you see Trent Bray and he's like, why is there a beaver and a lock emoji? Why is Dan Lanning just putting out a duck emoji right now?
He's just a couple of ducks out there, man. A couple of ducks getting tweeted out. A couple of final thoughts on this. Somebody texted in. So with all that being said, who are you picking to win the Texas-Washington game? So who are you picking, Brandon?
I'm picking UW.
You're picking UW.
I think their secondary is going to get eaten alive. I think they're going to get the ball out very quickly. And, you know, I certainly have you at a couple times. I think a lot of non-Washington fans, even some Husky fans I know, you always kind of doubt what the defense and the running game is, and then they need it, and it comes up money for them. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to do that this time. I'm not going to pretend that Texas's D-line is going to completely shut down Dylan Johnson and company. That Husky offensive line earned a lot of respect from me throughout the season and definitely in that Pac-12 title game. So
their offensive line is awesome.
I'm going to pick DeBoer over Sark.
I took Washington to cover. I'm going to take Texas to win the game by a field goal. I think it's a tight back and forth game. I think they're evenly matched.
God, that'd be a great game. Field goal winner.
I hope we get it, man. Last year was one of those first years that we had two exciting and entertaining semifinal games. The semifinals for the vast majority of the playoff era have been terrible. They've been blowouts almost every year. And we know who's going to win. It's a foregone conclusion. The teams that we think are going to win are going to win. I think that's the exciting thing about this year. I know I said in the last segment I'd be shocked if Michigan blew out Alabama. I wouldn't be shocked if they won a close game. I just don't see that being lopsided against Alabama. I don't see Saban losing a game in that fashion. I think we got a chance for two really good games, man.
I hope so.
They're two evenly matched teams. They both play kind of similar styles. One is going to be more high scoring and explosive. One's going to be a little more low scoring. And it comes down to little stuff. Penalties, turnovers, random mistakes. Does somebody drop a punt? Who throws a pick at a costly time?
Yeah.
Like, you can't predict that kind of stuff. I think we get a tight game. I'll take Texas to win very closely. It should be noted, too, a listener pointing out a good reminder that one of Texas's starting safeties is out for the first half of the game.
Oh, from the
targeting from the Big 12 title game.
That's
so they're
such a stupid rule.
There should be a statute of limitations on those. Like if you don't play, like if you get one in the bowl game in the second half, does it carry over to the first game of the next year?
I think it does.
Does it really?
Oh yeah.
It's a really
God, that is so stupid.
But you play Portland State in your first game, who cares, right?
That's true, but what if you play Georgia in your first game?
Oh, then it's a problem.
out there.
That is an area I think college football has whiffed bad on for me. Yeah. I understand the dangers, no headhunting and all that. Obviously, there would be circumstances that go, that kid clearly leading with his helmet, trying to hurt another kid. Okay. Most of these, though, these targetings,
ticky-tacky.
I find myself on the TV going, I got hit like 80,000 times in middle school, high school on that hit.
And then in the NFL, Dak Prescott getting slammed head first. Oh, no, that's not targeting.
I just hate the ejection thing. I think it's a big overreaction. Do 15 yards. Make him sit out a play if you need to do that. But
then the NFL will go back and review it. And they just suspended a safety for the Steelers yesterday for the rest of the year?
Yes. Well, because he's a multiple offender of that
Actually,
hit.
2 players on the Steelers suspended.
They had another one that got suspended too?
Yeah.
So they like that. I would rather do it that way. Give the guy a 15-yard flag, and then you go back and look at it, and when it's not in the heat of the moment and in the middle of the game, and if it's that bad of a hit, that nasty of a hit, like sure, give the guy a suspension or sit him out. But for every targeting call to result in that, it's just dumb. The system doesn't make sense. I wanted to have some fun with this. We'll move on to a couple of NFL news and notes, and then we'll strike the line at the bottom of the hour. Which one of these is the worst? So I save every year the world famous dirty poll, preseason poll.
Oh,
I save it every year.
The preseason,
preseason dirty poll.
Hell yeah!
So I'm going to run down 25-1 quickly. Which one are we laughing the most at from the preseason dirty poll that happened in August? Okay. The first one's going to be pretty good. Texas Tech was number 25.
Well, you did that.
I mean, top 25 win, baby. Arkansas 24, Wisconsin 23, Oklahoma 22. TCU 21, Ole Miss 20, Kansas State 19, Notre Dame 18, Penn State 17, Oregon State 16. I kind of hit that. South Carolina 15, North Carolina 14, Tennessee 13, Utah 12, Texas 11, Oregon 10, Clemson 9, LSU 8, Washington 7, Ohio State 6, Michigan 5, USC 4.
You did that on purpose.
Florida State 3, Alabama 2, Georgia 1.
First of all, look at you laugh as you go, USC 4, as if it was like the official poll.
God, what a disappointing season for them. What the hell happened to the Trojans?
I would more say that's a reflection
terrible
of
year.
You,
Jesus.
you, not the team.
Lincoln Riley's a bum. His old team's transferring.
There's a few in there.
Heads are falling off.
USC 4 is awful.
That's the worst one, for
Clemson
sure.
top. No, it's not.
Which is the worst one? USC went 7-5.
Arkansas is maybe out of the top 50 or 60 of. Did you see Arkansas play any football? They were so bad this year.
What was their record this year?
I think they had 4 wins.
Let's see. Wait, hold on. Googling. 4-8. They were 4-8 this year.
And it was like an ugly 4-8. It was like a 4-8 where you went, oh, you should have won 2.
Is that worse than having a team who went 7-5 in my top 4? And was out of the running a month into the season?
The problem is you're basing it on something you did on purpose. You put Tech at 25 for a top 25 dub in your mind.
You're damn right.
And you put USC 4 because you knew they wouldn't be 4. All of us knew they wouldn't be 4, just so you could go, ha, 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 look who was
Well, hold on with that. No, we didn't all think USC would be 4. They were the favorite to win the conference.
Did you vote?
No, I did not.
Schultze, did you vote? I didn't vote. I wouldn't have picked them.
I would have picked them.
To win the conference?
They had Caleb Williams back as the Heisman Trophy winner.
We knew that defense was shaky at best going in.
I think that's a little revisionist history.
No way. Go look at the tape.
I think
check
that's
tape,
revisionist
dude.
history.
Check tape. You want to check tape?
They were the odds-on favorite to win the conference.
No. I'm saying on this show, I don't remember you picking USC to win it.
Well, I had them top 4. I don't know if we picked Pac-12 champions.
But my point is, I think you put them top 4 so you could laugh later knowing they probably wouldn't finish top 4.
I mean, I didn't think that necessarily they had the best team in the conference.
I think they'd be 7-5. I will admit
they
that.
had the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback returning at quarterback. And Lincoln Riley went 10-2 and was a healthy Caleb Williams away from winning the conference the year before.
But we didn't trust the defense.
No, from what I remember, it wasn't like, oh, the defense is going to suck. There were some questions. It was like, this offense, it's going to be great, high flying.
Yeah.
But nah, we don't know if if they're going to be bad.
The offense was good, by the way.
Their offense was good, yeah.
Nobody predicted them firing Alex Grinch, though.
Yes, we did.
Well, we
wondered if he was getting fired last year.
No way.
We could have the Tulane game.
Yeah, but I think the argument would be that they went 10-2 last year with him as their defensive coordinator.
Exactly.
Like
Right.
they were that bad defensively, and they still won 10 games, and he still won the Heisman, and that's why they were the odds-on favorite to win the They were the favorite in Vegas to win the conference in the preseason. They were picked by the media to win the conference in the preseason.
The media. The same media telling us the Pac-12 was going to have their lucrative TV deal.
Oregon was 4th in some of the national polls, below Utah.
They were.
In the Pac-12.
In preseason rankings, they were.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think, look, we're
arguing a difference between like 3 games, really? Because like 7-5, I didn't see that. 9-3, 8-4.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been
certainly.
surprised at all by 9-3. Sure.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been an angle of the Pac-12 just it's a tough conference this year.
Oh yeah.
And they had to play Washington, they had to play Oregon, they had to play Utah. Like, you tell me they lose 2 of those games, I'm not surprised by that at all. Not to mention Notre Dame and South Bend. Like, 9-3 wouldn't have necessarily been a terrible year. They just lost other games along the way and probably should have lost more. They probably shouldn't even be in a bowl game because they damn near lost to Arizona and probably should have lost that game too.
Clemson not being top 10 on their recruiting profile and their history, that's probably more egregious.
Yeah, the other big miss here is South Carolina was terrible this year. They were bad. TCU was also really bad this year. So a lot of big misses, but that's I want to have some fun with that. That's the dirty pool. Let's take a look ahead to the weekend that's coming in the NFL because I'm very excited for it. There's a big-time game in San Francisco on Monday night. We'll spring the line coming up at the bottom of the hour, so get your fake sponsors in. 503-864-6326. You can also chime in on the YouTube live feed with your fake sponsors. We'll do some gambling coming up in a bit. Back after this on 1080 The Fan. welcome back in 822. Final 40 minutes of our work year. Sprague, you made it all the way to the breakfast place and back in the commercial break. That's impressive.
Thank you. I almost got hit by a car and actually laughed about that thought.
That'd be a hell of a way to go.
Well, what's funny is I'm dressed as a deer. Imagine if I got hit by a car. Like, what happened? I hit a deer.
That'd be
a guy in a deer suit.
It was a guy in a deer suit.
Hell of a CSI episode.
Take
right
him home
there.
and cook him, man. Come on.
All the deers I've seen on the side of the road just dead. Like, damn, that's got to suck. You imagine if that was how I went in my deer onesie?
That's brutal. Can I throw a random trivia question at you? And then we'll get to a couple thoughts on this weekend's NFL slate.
I love a good trivia question.
Can either of you name me? This blew me away. Can either of you name me the all-time leader in passing yards in the history of the Big Ten Conference?
It's going to be something dumb. Like a Jake Browning is the Pac-12 one.
Yeah. Is he still the Pac-12 leader?
I don't know. I thought I'd heard that on the broadcast of their last game where they beat the Vikings and they came back. Big Ten passing leader all time? It's got to be a 4-year guy.
Luke Falk, according to this.
Oh, Luke Falk.
Luke Falk. Jake Browning is in 4th behind Matt Barkley and Sean Mannion.
I'm going to throw
that's
Chad
right.
Henne out there.
Chad Henne?
Chad Henne, longtime starter. He had a great career at Michigan, long career in the NFL.
Exactly.
Drew Brees probably didn't play it long enough as a starter.
Don't think he did. He had good moments. Also, games changed a lot in the last 20 years.
Is it going to be something dumb like Graham Mertz?
It's not quite that dumb.
Ooh, is it Eric Crouch?
It is.
He ran.
He ran, and he was also not in the Big Ten.
Big 12, yeah.
Wow, because I don't think that technically counts.
Gosh,
Who is it, runner? It is Tua's little brother.
That actually tracks, yeah. That makes sense.
I saw that yesterday because I think he announced he wasn't playing in the bowl game. He's like going to the NFL, and there was a tweet. The all-time leading passer in Big Ten history is before going to the bowl game. And I thought, wait, what?
Wait, did he announce NFL? Because I know he was angling for another year of eligibility.
So he I just know for now he has opted out of the Music City Bowl. He will not be playing in their bowl game, but he is the all-time leader in passing yards in Big Ten history.
Okay.
Shout out to Tua's little brother. Throw a couple of NFL games at you. I'm genuinely excited for. We have games. It's going to be a unique weekend because you got a bunch of games on Christmas Eve. So if you're driving around Christmas Eve, there's a lot of football going on. There are your games on Saturday. Your Saturday games are Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. No, thank you. And then Buffalo versus the Chargers.
I mean, that is a playoff game.
I don't want to watch the Steelers. I don't want to watch the Steelers.
They might be in a playoff game.
If they're in the playoffs, I'm not going to watch that game. I boycott.
Come on,
the Steelers are terrible. The Steelers are terrible. They
changed the quarterback.
Yeah, that's going to work
Rudolph,
out.
Mason, or Rudolph.
Oh, they're going down to Mason Rudolph. Is that where we're on now this week?
Announced he's the starter the rest of the year.
That's going to fix all their issues.
I'm
wondering why they haven't done that for the last month. Now their offense is going to be explosive and fun to watch, and they're going to score more than 17 points in that game. Being sarcastic.
George Pickens was caught not blocking, and they said, "Why didn't you block?" And he goes, "Did you see what happened to Tank Dell? I don't want that happen to me.
Don't want to get hurt. Come on. But games I am excited for. Dallas on the road in Miami. I'm fired up for that. Miami's still vying for the number 1 seed in the AFC. The division is still on the line. Buffalo, I think, is a game behind them. And Baltimore's in San Francisco on Monday night.
Yeah.
So it might not be a win for them. So the 1 seed that's in play for Miami, and Dallas is coming off an embarrassing loss to the Buffalo Bills. I can't wait for that game on Christmas Eve.
I think, first of all, that's the game of games. You can pinpoint your favorite team. You could be a Bronco fan, a Cowboy fan, whoever. Everybody knows what the best game of the week is. It's San Francisco-Baltimore.
It is the best game of the week.
Is that the Super Bowl?
Could be.
Are we going to get 2 Super Bowl games in the same season from teams in the AFC, NFC? By the way, how often does that happen, right?
How often does it happen on Christmas Day? I mean, I know they just started Christmas Day games, but what a present for NFL football.
Really stealing the NBA's thing.
How are NBA fans feeling about that?
I'm feeling a little weird.
What is the NBA schedule on Christmas Day?
Well, the Knicks almost always start it.
I know the Lakers are going to play.
When their in-season tourney is touting like 4 million viewers max, which is like half of what the Army-Navy game got on Saturday, December
Bucks
9th.
Knicks to start off at 9 a.m. Knicks at 9 a.m. is always going to be on your TV in New York.
Always.
Warriors Nugs.
I'll watch the Bucks and Knicks game at 9 a.m.
Celtics Lakers. They might get Gabe Vincent back for the Lakers. Sixers Heat in Miami. It's kind of a tasty little slate. Mavericks at Suns. That's a good day of NBA basketball.
I'm not gonna watch the last two games probably, but you can get my viewership away from Raiders and Chiefs.
Well, you're not going to steal my viewership, but I will put on like my iPad. I'll probably have it and not see all of the stuff.
Yeah.
Sixers Heat.
Yeah, because Raiders and Chiefs is your first Christmas Day game, and then you get Giants and Eagles in the middle of the afternoon.
Raiders Chiefs.
I don't need. I'm okay. I'm good there. I don't need to watch those games.
Schultze's on YouTube right now texting people.
I'm
updating my resolutions.
Oh.
No,
you wrote them down.
We got resolutions today. I don't know.
Well, Sprague said come with 3 resolutions.
None
tomorrow,
of the show I had in my mind has happened, so I don't know what we're doing
Well,
anymore.
then, you know what? Just toss it all
I am
over my
curious to
shoulder.
hear your
It's fine.
resolutions.
Yeah, we'll get to resolutions in the final segment. It's our last segment of the year.
And by the way, Schultze, I will defend the NBA a little bit once in a while. $4 million for the NBA is pretty damn good for regular season. By the way, also amazing for baseball. The only sport that gets bigger numbers is football. Football is playing by a different set of rules.
No, I get it. You're talking 82 regular season games. So what? $1 million average, per viewer viewership per night. Like that's not bad. But like when you're talking in-season tournament, the money that they put them out, trying to promote it into it, the amount of money they paid the players, it's just not worth the investment. And then for them to tout it as some massive success, that's a little disingenuous. That's all. I understand.
What's disingenuous about how they touted it?
Because
it was a 35% increase from the same time in the regular season last year.
Was that worth the probably 100 to 200 million, if not more, investment that they put into it? I would champion absolutely
200 million?
They put a ton of money.
200 million?
Well, just to pay the players of the winning team alone, it's 500 per, right?
$500K per player.
Yeah, so that's like 3-4 million. I mean, there's other things that go into this massive marketing campaign that started this summer. No, there's been maybe not 100 million, but at least 50 million put into this, and for that, 4 million. Average viewership.
Well, what does that mean to advertising dollars, though?
Nothing. It doesn't.
You don't think 4 million is attractive to advertisers?
See, this is where you're wrong. I think Schultze has a point of how, is in year one, is the juice worth the squeeze? Because they put a lot of money into it. And you had the guy from The Sopranos do the commercials and all that. You have to pub it. You have to turn it into a big deal.
Those are great commercials.
But what the NBA needs, though, and this is where I think you're slightly wrong, is that they need something that they could sell to their TV providers that's going to get viewership. So in the long run, it's going to end up making the NBA money because they can go and say, hey, we have this in-season tournament that averaged 4 million viewers. Why should we buy your product? Here's 4 million viewers per game. That's why.
I just thought it was weird context that you had some media that were like, this was a dud, nobody watched. And then
that's just not true. Yeah.
Well, but that's a real take from people that existed. And the facts are they significantly increased their viewership for regular season games, but they just called it a tournament. But it was a regular season game.
In the concept that you guys just said, as far as the NFL stealing Christmas Day, that's kind of what I was responding to. It's like the NFL's going to win, and the NBA can spend all.
The
money
NFL will beat anything that wants. The NFL is king, and the Chiefs and Raiders game, which is a horrible football game because Aiden O'Connell is not what are we doing here? That I don't want to watch the Raiders play football anymore. I've gotten to that point in the NFL season.
The Raiders are
there's
awful.
half the teams in the league. I don't need to see the Chargers play again. No. I don't need to see the Giants play again. I don't need to see the Steelers play again. These are bad football teams with bad quarterbacks and bad offenses, and they're not going to do anything whether they make the playoffs or not. But you will get 35 million people that watch that game, which is sad, but that's the reality.
Well,
of the league.
I can't even argue against the Christmas Day thing. I just more they have encroached on all the sports.
Yes.
You love college football? You wait until they start routinely giving you Saturday NFL. Bye. Get out of here, college football. You want bowl games? Mm-hmm. Nobody gives a damn. We've got Commanders Jets.
I mean, the college football already has to bend over backwards in years where New Year's Eve, because they like having the semifinal games on New Year's Eve. Yeah. But New Year's Eve, where does it fall this year? It's a Sunday.
Right? Yeah.
Where are they playing the semifinal games? On Monday, because they're not going. They know they can't go head to head with the NFL, and the NFL is not bending over backwards. So in years where where New Year's Eve is a Tuesday, Thursday, whatever, you're going to play it on those years. But on the years that it's a Sunday, you bend over backwards to fit your schedule into the NFL.
Also, the NBA, if you're in a family setting, the NBA is better to have on for Christmas than the NFL, and I'll tell you why.
What do you got?
Not the games themselves. Ravens-Niners is electric. But, what's the sport that you'll half-heartedly pay attention to but interact with your family? It's the NBA. You hear the squeaking in the background. Once in a while, bang! You turn around, they scored. The NFL is on. Nobody's talking to each other, and everybody's just like, I got $80 on this game. And it's just like, okay, well.
That'll be me for the Niner-Raven game because that's an awesome game, and I'm very excited for it. But the early games, no thanks. I'll watch the NBA early on Christmas Day. Bucks and Knicks, that's a good little game.
Dame on Christmas morning.
They never got to do that in Portland.
Sadly, no. Remember we used to get the Christmas Day game?
Hey, but at least we're not Detroit.
Yeah.
So that's cool. At least we're not Detroit.
All right.
It's just short-sighted by the NBA to think that I do think there are executives in that boardroom that are like, hey, we can compete with the NFL. Love you guys.
No, there's not a chance. Not a chance in hell.
Nobody's dumb enough to do that. Nobody's dumb enough to think that.
Dude, you've had 20 years of evidence. Not a soul in that office thinks that they legitimately can contend with the NFL. Nobody can.
Yeah, this is all, the in-season tournament for the NBA was all about how do we cut through and have people talking about our league
before Christmas,
in December, in November, and they succeeded in that. Whether it's making fun of the Lakers for hanging a banner, which they didn't want to do, but the NBA forced them to do.
Did you see LeBron, by the way?
I did not see him.
He basically walked away as they did it. People make fun of LeBron. Oh, LeBron's going to claim it. Yeah. LeBron barely cared. He just did what Silver needed because he wants to be an owner. When they hung the banner, he was seen by Golliver like he just turned away. He didn't care at all.
The guys don't care. I mean, they cared. They played hard in the tournament. They won. He smoked a cigar in the locker room afterwards, and it got people talking about the sport. And now it's where does it go from here? Can you grow it? Can it turn into something more? All right, let's get to Sprague in the line. There's your NFL preview. Cowboys and Dolphins should be a good game.
Oh, my.
Excited for that one.
Ravens-Niners is pretty damn exciting.
It's an awesome game on Monday night. We're going to Sprague in the line coming up next. Get your fake sponsors in, 503-864-6326. We'll read them off. But first, your Schulte the Elf with Sports Center.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update is brought to you by Toro Mexican Kitchen. Transport yourself to Baja, Mexico with delicious regional dishes and cocktails. Book your table today at toropdx.com. First on The Fan, the Portland Trailblazers grabbing their 7th win of the season, beating the Phoenix Suns last night, 109-104 the final. Ant Simons leading the way with 23. Jeremy Grant behind him with 22. Portland on a rest day today before hosting the Wizards tomorrow. Elsewhere in the association, Damian Lillard scored 40 points, joined the 20,000-point club as well as the Bucks beat the Spurs 132-119. Ja Morant going off for 34 points, including the game winner at the buzzer to lead the Grizz over the Pelicans 115-113 the final. In college football, it's National Signing Day. Among the 17-plus recruits officially joining the Ducks so far, you got 5-star linebacker Elijah Rushing, 4-star safety Aaron Flowers, 4-star defensive lineman Zadavian Sims, as well as local product 3-star offensive lineman Trent Ferguson from West Salem High School. The Ducks also grabbing Kansas State transfer safety Kobe Savage. In the NFL, Texans rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud unlikely to be ready to go Sunday against the Cleveland Browns since he's still in concussion protocol. That means Case Keenum will be under center for Houston again this week. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte the Elf from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Spirit Mountain Casino brings you big games on big screens with big-time sports betting action. Learn more at spiritmountain.com.
Happy holidays from our family to yours. The Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Alienware's holiday event starts now. For a limited time, go beyond performance on select gaming laptops featuring Intel Core processors. Shop now at alienware.com/deals.
So what's your favorite thing about the holidays?
Well, it just feels like there's magic in the air.
Holiday magic is definitely in the air at Fred Meyer Jewelers. And we're putting a bow on our 50th anniversary celebration with amazing values as our gift to you. From gorgeous gemstone rings to dazzling diamonds, classic necklaces, and so much more, you'll find beautiful gift ideas to fit every budget. And our expert associates are here to help you choose the perfect expression of your love. So celebrate 50 years of gift giving with Fred Meyer Jewelers.
Colder weather is here, and so is cold and flu season. That means it's the perfect time to bring your kids in for a well child visit. It's a checkup to make sure their development is on track and their immunizations are up to date. And while you're at it, schedule their annual teeth cleaning too. Dental care is an essential part of your kids' overall health. Find easy tips to stay healthy at careoregon.org/kids.
It's the year-end clearance at Motorsport Hillsboro. We just got a truckload of Kawasaki special purchase dirt, street, ATV, and side-by-sides. We'll save you thousands, plus any 2023 Kawasaki has got to go. Up to $3,000 off. KX, KLX, Ninjas, EX, plus KRX side-by-sides. Save $400 on a Kawasaki Electrode balance bike, just $799. Nobody works harder to get you the nation's best deal. So hit the dirt, street, or dunes on a Motorsport Hillsboro Kawasaki. MotorsportHillsboro.com.
This is Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Child custody is the most emotional issue our clients face. If you're a divorcing father, the relationship with your children is about to change. But that change doesn't have to be for the worse. Kids already feel the stress of parents who don't get along, and they can thrive after a divorce. Kids trust their dads. Their dads trust Goldberg Jones. Call 1-800-DIVORCE and get your phone questions answered at no charge.
serving the greater Portland, Vancouver area.
This holiday season, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to hand-stitched leather jackets, our in-store experts will help guide you as you shop, assisting with boot fitting and providing complimentary hat shaping. This holiday, share a piece of the American spirit. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
In Beaverton, mostly sunny, a high of 52.
Weather brought to you by Pfizer.
COVID-19 can keep you on the sidelines. If you're more likely to get very sick from COVID, ask your doctor if prescription oral treatment is right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line.
All right, see what we got here. Sprague in the line brought to you by the amount of actual work Swag will do while in Hawaii, still greater than the thought Sprague puts into his picks.
Oh, no, I'm sure he'll do extra work outside of the Pilots games. He just won't do the work for this show that he told us he was going to do, and that was give us his picks.
Dude,
yeah, we're not going to get picks.
Email 40 minutes ago.
40 minutes ago, you got an email?
5:40 or 4:40.
I mean, he's calling games. He's over there to work, not on vacation.
He is. He's working. Sprague in the line brought to you by Christmas presents. Unlike a Sprague pick, you can return them on 12/26 and get something better. Take it back.
I almost did that, actually, to pay off the Civil War bet.
Oh, did you?
I almost put a couple hundo on the old credit card and then wear it, and then like, it didn't fit.
Yeah, just keep the tags on, take it back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sprague Line brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Instead of gambling with Sprague picks, you can gamble with diabetes and heart issues, and at least you win a free seat. That's more than you win with a Sprague pick.
Want to get away?
Sprague Line brought to you by Sprague's Pants Party. While sharks like Ken Barkley show up rocking a sweet pair of Lululemons, Sprague is forced to come in a tattered pair of Kmart sweats. I was with the wife at Lululemon the other day.
Shout out Kmart. Making a comeback?
My dad one year bought my mom a pair of Kmart pants for Christmas. My dad is kind of notoriously cheap.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. He once bought our family a trip to Mexico for Christmas, but only paid for half of it. As like a
down payment?
Like he just paid half. He was like, we're going to Mexico. That was his Christmas present. And then my mom had to pay for the other half. It was like a 50-50 thing. So it ended up being a Christmas present that she had to pay for. But he bought her famously a pair of Kmart pants one year for Christmas, and she wore them. She was a high school counselor for years. She wore them to school in January. These nice new pants. I'm going to wear them. And they were so like cheaply made that they like had the static stick to her legs. Just stuck to her legs the entire day.
I hated those.
She had to walk around with like suction pants on all afternoon and never wore them again. So we have a Kmart pants story in our family.
I don't want to say this and be wrong, but I like your dad a lot. And your dad, we went to your surprise birthday when you were hungover famously.
Yes.
The look of Dirt's face getting out of the car was like, God, why are we doing this? And then he comes into a house of all friends and family. Your dad, before you got there, was touting his beer.
Yeah.
And I'm almost wondering, not that he doesn't love to make beer, but was he making beer to not have to buy beer?
Oh, no, he's all in on the beer thing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's in on the beer thing.
Okay.
He's not that cheap.
Well,
My
you
parents
said
are
cheap,
very
and
cheap,
I'm like,
though.
I remember trying his beer, and he was really into the beer. Was he doing that because he didn't want to buy the beer?
I tell my parents all the time, they got to start spending money, man. We got to start blowing some cash here. You can blow $1,000 in Del Belco Vista in a week, okay?
Now, you need to tell him to save it. Give it to old Andy.
Spring and Lab brought to you by the crooner champion Schultze. His name might not be Derek, but he can sing high. So Step Brothers reference there.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that.
All right, here we go. Last week in Sprague in the Line, I was 2-1. Sprague went 1-2. I hit on the Niners and the Bills. Missed on the Eagles Monday night. Screw you, Drew Lock. They shouldn't have lost that game. You hit on the Chiefs -8 against the Pats. You missed on the Commanders and Rams over 50.5.
By the way, thank you, Warren Sharp, for tweeting out my hellscape of they got the ball with 6 minutes and they just nonchalantly ran it down to 1.5 minutes.
They did.
What are you doing?
They did. You missed on the Broncos +4.5 against the Lions.
No kidding.
Swag went 1-1-1. He kissed his sister this week. Bengals was a push against the Vikings. He hit on the Bears-Browns under of 38.5, and the Titans -3 was a whiff against the Texans. So, season standings, I'm 29-16. Sprague, you were 20-24-1, and Swag is 19-25-1. So that's where we're at. I'll start off.
What is Swag again? I'm sorry.
19-25-1.
All right.
We got to go quickly here because we're already against it.
Go.
I'm on no reason other than the Chargers suck. They fired their coach. I think the Bills are playing good. Give me the Bills Saturday night, -12 against the Chargers.
I will take the Cowboys +1 against, or +1.5, excuse me, on DraftKings. I think it's a good bounce back spot. I actually think it's a good matchup for them.
Yeah.
The Tyreek Hill stuff was a little uncertain and questionable. Miami played a great game against the Jets. Dallas played their worst game. I think at some point the better team will win. I think Dallas might be slightly better than Miami.
I'm going to keep it simple there, too. I love that game, too. That is my second pick. I love the Cowboys this week. I make fun of them. I think they're fraudulent in terms of a Super Bowl contender because they can't beat San Francisco, but I also don't really know what to make of the Dolphins, and I think this is a great bounce-back spot for Dallas.
I will take the Rams -4.
Ooh.
Thursday Night Football tomorrow.
I like that pick.
Well, I mean, I kind of wanted to go Saints, so I'm just trying to go with the teams that, maybe surprise me.
Are you going opposites here? We've reached opposite point of the season?
Yeah, I kind of, Have you seen me? Like the last 3 weeks, I've been 1 and 2 every week.
My last pick, I've had a hard time picking the last game. I like the first two. I'm down between two games. Detroit in domes, I'm encouraged by. Green Bay going on the road to Carolina. I don't quite get that. I think I'm going to land on that pick. Give me that. I will take the Packers in Carolina. I know Carolina had a surprise.
Damn it.
That was against Desmond Ridder. Carolina sucks. I'm not going to overreact to one game.
Atlanta sucks.
Atlanta's terrible. Green Bay is not the team that maybe we thought they were 3 weeks ago, but I think they're better than what they've shown the last couple of weeks. I'm going to go get right spot. They're still technically alive, I believe, in the playoff chase. I'll take the Packers -5 in Carolina.
See, I love that game. Anytime you bet against a bad quarterback and team, you should do it.
Yes.
Do not let last week for both teams be the factor here. I'll stay away from having 2 of the same picks as you in our 3 picks. I'm going to gamble the hell out of that game. My final pick, it doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm going to roll with it. Titans +2.5 at home against the Seahawks.
Titans +2.5.
It just feels like a weird spot for Seattle, and also I don't
overreact.
I don't understand it, so I'll take the Titans plus the points.
Do not overreact to the Seahawks from Monday night. They have shown you who they are the last month. That was a primetime Monday night game. Drew Lock miracle. Don't overreact.
I also think Houston's better than Seattle. And I think that Seattle secondary is not that great, despite how that game ended against Philly.
Okay.
I think Levis and company can respond.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can get Swag's picks. We will. We're going to tweet out our picks, by the way. So we're going to be off next week. There will be live shows. We'll tell you what the schedule is coming up next. But we will be out next week. So we'll tweet out our picks if you want to follow along. We'll make sure to keep track of it. Tweet them out a week from Friday, and we'll have our picks, and then we'll be back the next week in the new year. New Year's resolutions, our final segment of the year. We'll wrap it up next on The Fan. Let's get one more in here because we love you all. Sprague in the Line brought to you by Mornings with Dirt and Sprague. A show so white you could nickname it Jennifer Garner. That's a good one.
That is her credit card thing. I had a listener that DM'd
I run a
me.
farm. Oh, do you, Jennifer? Who
cares?
Congratulations on your organic farm you run. That sounds great.
I've noticed a lot of her movies are becoming just kind of the same thing. She's the mom, and the family has their little problems, and then something happens to them that brings them closer together.
Is there a wider thing than an organic farm?
Hot take.
Never liked organic.
Never like Jennifer Garner?
No.
There's something going on there with me. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested.
There's like a good girl, bad girl.
Yeah.
You know, she also seems like she's really responsible.
Yeah, a little too responsible.
Hey, don't forget your breakfast sandwich. Like, you're right.
You're right.
That's a good point.
Thanks, Mom.
A listener, one of our P1s, Brian, I forgot, he DM'd me on Instagram, real quick mail sack question. What was his question exactly? It was something to the effect of what you do. I butchered this. I should have had this more prepared. Basically, the question was, how do you deal with an aftermath of a bad fight with a friend? How do you guys deal with that?
Deal with the aftermath of a bad fight with a friend.
Yeah. I'm not a good example here. I need you guys.
I think you guys get, if it's a good friend, it's honesty, it's hard conversation, and then you move on. I mean,
stop being friends with them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Bad fight to me is like
bad fights. I'm probably not friends with you anymore.
I mean, I lose family members over fights, so yeah, I definitely lose friends.
Definitely give it time. I'm not going to reach out in the immediate aftermath of it. You give it time, see if it can heal the wound, but if not, it's probably over.
Yeah.
That's how I would. I haven't had a lot of big fights with friends, though, thankfully.
It's not me,
Merry
it's
Christmas
you.
to you guys, too.
It's not me, it's you. You pulled a George Costanza.
You just reverse it.
Yeah. Do we have resolutions for the new year, 2024? What do we got, boys?
Schultze, go ahead. You wrote these down.
I'm ready to go. I mean, everybody knows my first resolution. Find a way to become a damn sports radio host. I think I've said that enough on the air. And thanks to you guys, a lot of opportunities given to me this year. So I appreciate you. I wouldn't have been on Ducks coverage if it weren't for Dirt saying something to Boss Man Jeff. So you guys are helping me out. So I appreciate that.
I love you, Schultze.
I love you guys, too. Singing, I want to do that more. I love it. I want to find a way to, maybe do a little side gig or something like that. And then my last resolution, spend more time with the people in my life. I don't want to sit at home as much. I want to hang out. Want to do
you want to get out of the house.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be throwing a Super Bowl party for everybody here at the Fans. So come
Super Bowl party, guy.
I can't go to that. I also throw a Super Bowl party.
Are you really?
But for nobody at the Fan.
Well, I'm inviting everybody here. So hopefully one person shows up from the station.
My child is due the day of the Super Bowl, or else I would be there.
Well, that's okay.
That'd be funny.
It's the first excuse to getting out of something with a kid.
That's a good one.
That's a good. I mean, I can't even. That's not an excuse.
The water could break.
You never know. I got to be available. I can't get drunk. I got to be able to drive to the hospital. I can't be over there boozing watching the Super Bowl as the Niners dominate whoever they're playing, and I cash all those Super Bowl tickets. I only have one work-related one, and that is to dominate YouTube in 2024.
I have a lot of YouTube thoughts.
A lot of YouTube goals for 2024.
Yeah, I'm at lockstep. I have kind of the same idea. Things that I would like us to do on YouTube aside from just showing our shows every day.
There's a lot of milk in that nipple, if you know what I mean. Squeeze it.
Do you have fire in your gut?
Probably going to pull that.
Yeah, I think you should pull that.
Is that not a saying? Do people not say that?
Well, I don't know.
A lot of milk in that nipple?
A lot of milk in that nipple. Squeeze it out.
I don't think that's...
I don't know, Greg.
It's an unsqueezed thing.
Can you milk me?
Yeah. I kind of want to.
It's like an untapped oil spout, what fuels the world.
You kind of stole my work one, so thanks for one-upping me there. You also took my gambling picks, but that's cool. We didn't talk about it, so that's kind of my fault. Mine's pretty simple. I kind of became addicted the last 3 or 4 weeks here. I've become addicted to caffeine. And so it's like, stop,
We get a nice week where I'm going to try and drink as little of coffee as humanly possible.
I don't know if I'm going to drink any. Yeah. I really might detox to that extent. It's probably going to give me a headache the first couple days. But I was drinking like coffee and then getting an energy drink. And that was not good for me.
That's not good. You got to keep the motor going.
Yeah.
You got to be active. So a good little week off.
I'm pretty burnt out, to be honest with you. Like, I know our job is kick-ass. I'm grateful every day. I had a lot of things happen this year in my personal life that have like mentally worn me out. I'm going to enjoy tomorrow sleeping in.
Sleeping in, having a week off. Christmas break. It'll be great. But there's still going to be live shows. So Luke, I think, is filling in doing our show tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And then there's no shows Friday for anybody.
Nope.
No shows Tuesday for anybody because it's day after Christmas. And then it'll be Luke filling in, I believe,
With
next
Swag,
week
yeah.
with Swag.
It's just a couple days, too. Like, it sounds like a lot, but we won't miss too many shows.
I mean, yeah, based on the actual schedule, I think we're only missing 4 shows tomorrow and then Tuesday through Friday.
That we're airing, yeah.
Yes. A lot of bowl games on the fan.
Yeah.
So we love you all, man. We wouldn't be able to do this without our great listeners. And so whether you watch on YouTube, Odyssey app, 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, no matter how you listen, we love you.
Schultze, do you want to take us out?
You want me to sing us out?
I threw it at you this morning, and then I didn't allow you to. Do you want to close it out?
All right. Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir. And folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. All right, I can't sing the rest. We're going to run out of time. No sports update, but Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll talk to you on January 2nd, and Colin is next. You're listening to 1080 The Fan.
I'm Trisha Crick with BetQL. 2 teams on the edge of the